China, Arisara, Ribina China, Arisara, Ribina China, Arisara, Arisara, hey, 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 when I'm scaling, 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 Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Chingenandambo, Zobonambu, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, Sashungele Saja, Sashungele Africa, hey, 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 when I'm scaling, hey, hey. Sawa. Noa. Mnafahamu volitoka. Sikia, kama uwezi hapo. hadithi njoo, walipouko akawa geza ya nani ya mwizi, hadithi hadithi njoo. Walimwacha pale hali maututi, hajui afanyeje. Alisanywa hadi loko, alipigwa na jembe, walipaukwa giza ya nani ya mwizi, hadithi njoo, walipaukwa
Thank you very much, Kabete National Polytechnic Choir. Let's appreciate them with a round of applause, tafadhali. Asanteni sana. We will now do the national anthem, the East African anthem, so that we can officially begin our program today. Kabete National Polytechnic Choir, kazi kwenu. Ladies and gentlemen, we can be upstanding for the national anthem.
Uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you so much. You may now use the left side to exit the stage. Let's stay upstanding, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening prayers by Mrs. Mutua. Mrs. Mutua, karibu sana jukwani.
Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. May we pray. Our dear loving Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, this morning we are in your presence with our hearts full of thanksgiving. We're looking back to where we started on Wednesday, and today we are able to say thank you. You have walked with us, you have given us success, and today, Jehovah God, we gather again to say we commit the programs of today before your hands. We pray that Jehovah God, you will be with each one of us. We thank you for every deliberation, every discussion, every presentation that's going to be done here. That Jehovah God is going to inform the decisions and the policies on market driven skills, and also Jehovah God, increase employability for the youth in this country. And my Father, that there's going to be great development in our nation. We thank you because we know this gathering in Kabete will have a great impact, not only in Kenya, but in Africa and the world in general. And therefore we ask you to take over this meeting and you guide us. We give you glory and we honor you. And it is in Jesus' name we pray and give thanks. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mutwa. A round of applause for her, even as she walks off stage. Asante sana, Mrs. Mutwa, for that wonderful opening prayer. Distinguished guests, thought leaders, researchers, innovators, stakeholders in the education sector, and members of the fourth estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Oh, you all look amazing from up here. So I'll ask, if there's a seat in front of you, could you kindly fill it? Could you kindly fill it? If there's a seat in front of you, just fill it. You never know. Ndio safari ya mbinguni inaanza. Au namna gani? Thank you very much. Asanteni sana. All right. So I take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome you to day 2 of the 4th International Research Conference, Skills, Competition, Innovation, Career Guidance, and Expo. My name is Andrine Kilemi. I am a broadcast journalist, and I am truly honored to serve as your master of ceremonies for today's program. So as we gather here to exchange ideas, showcase innovation, and inspire the next generation, I want to invite all of us to fully engage and connect meaningfully and make the most out of this day. Are we ready for that? Students, are we ready for that? All right, so once again, karibuni sana. Feel at home, feel at school, feel inside the dome, just feel at peace, okay? So at this point in time, I want to invite on stage the moderator for our first panel discussion this morning. That is Ms. Martha Otieno, who is the Senior Manager, Youth Empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ms. Martha Otieno as she comes on stage. On that panel, we will have a representative from SHOFCO. We will have Kevin Thuku, who is the Program Director, NRCF. Let's appreciate him as he comes on stage. We will also have Ms. Rachel Kiaritha, who is the CEO, Kenya Counseling and Psychological Association, KCPA. Makofi kwake. Last but not least, we will have Ms. Rachel Kimani, who is the CP Nyeri National Polytechnic. Let's appreciate her as well. And lastly, we have Dr. Priscilla Nduko, who is the Principal, MTTIB. Let's appreciate her one more time. Dr. Priscilla Nduko, yes. So they will be discussing the issue of enhancing inclusion of youth, women, and PWDs in skills training. So ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to engage fully. Look at the person seated next to you and say these words to them, okay? Do not be scared. Mwambie MC amenipea ruhusa. Sawa sawa. Look them straight in the eye. Are you looking at them? Tell them, I know it is cold, but dare you sleep, I will pinch you. By the way, ukimwona analala, mpinch too, okay? So let's put our hands together for our first panelist this morning. Karibu sana, our moderator, Miss Martha Otieno.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's happy to have the pleasure of being in this amazing conference. Congratulations to Kabete Polytechnic. And today, in this particular panelist, we'll be discussing inclusivity. That is, what are some of the measures that we can take to ensure that everyone is included in the technical and vocational education and training skilling, and not only skilling, but being able to be employable and be able to participate fully in the economic development of the country. So to start us off, let me begin by introducing myself again. My name is Martha Otieno. I'm a consultant, a youth employment specialist, having worked in various programs, trying to coordinate and not only also design and monitor employment programs to ensure that they're able to achieve their objectives. So let me also take this particular opportunity to allow my panelists introduce themselves, starting from my far right. Welcome.
Thank you so much and good morning, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself once again because I'm standing in for the principal, Dr. Priscilla Nduku from Machakos TTI for the Blind. My name is Mary Koigi. I work for the Ministry of Education, State Department for TVET, and I coordinate industry linkages and door training, and to some aspects, labor mobility. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Rachel Kimani, the Chief Principal at the Nyeri National Polytechnic. I am a career trainer and also a counselor. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Kiaritha, Chief Executive Officer at Kenya Counseling and Psychological Association, and I'm happy to be here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kelvin Thuku. I'm the Program Director at Ngongro Children's Foundation. It's an NGO that empowers vulnerable students through education sponsorship from primary all the way to post-secondary. It provides career mentorship, life skills training, and job skills training so that they can get meaningful employment. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. I want us to, first of all, be able to understand inclusion and inclusivity, just for members of our congregant who are not conversant with that particular term. So inclusion is where we ensure that everyone is able to participate, whether you're from the marginalized areas, you're a woman, you're a young person, you're from informal settlement, you're a person living with a disability, you're a refugee, you're able to participate in the economic development. So for these particular questions, we are going to find out, are there any measures, are there any policies, are there any objectives that we have to ensure that everyone is included and everyone can be able to participate. So to start us off, allow me to start again with you, Mary. What are some of the measures that the State Department for TVET is putting in place to enhance inclusion across TVET?
Thank you so much, and thank you for that definition. And I want to define inclusion in relation to the education sector, and in this case, the TVET sector. And so for us, we are looking at it in terms of equitable access, participation, and skills acquisition for all learners, regardless of their gender, their physical ability, the financial background, and their geographical location. So in the TVET sector, we ensure that all those factors are considered when you're looking into inclusion. And so for us, the government is keen on the policies that are developed to ensure issues inclusion in all our policies. We ensure matters inclusion are included. We are also looking at it in terms of expanding access and equity, especially for all. And that is the reason why, if you look at the directives that were given sometimes a while, we are expected to have a TVET institution in all our constituencies. And so we are looking at it in terms of expanding from around 60 TVETs to currently over 250 TVETs. Still on the issue of expanding access and equity, we are also looking in terms of enrollment to ensure that more access the vocational education. And in this case, we are in 2022, we are looking at numbers ranging from over 200,000, around 200,000 to current close to 800,000. And then we also look at it in terms of policy. Quite a number of policies have developed, including a policy on gender that was developed in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender. And so we want to ensure that we do include that. Other than the expansion, we are looking at disability mainstreaming. So in disability mainstreaming, we have ensured that our infrastructures align. And we, as much as we have 4 TVETs, which are special needs TVETs, we also ensure that inclusion does not necessarily mean that the trainees who are physically challenged have to go to institutions that exclude them, because in a way, when you keep them in the institutions, it's like you're bringing in the component of exclusion. Though we still have those special schools, and currently we have 4 across the country. We have 1 in Machakos for the blind, we have in Current for the deaf, and we have Sikri, which combines for the deaf and the blind, and multiple other cases, and Nyangoma. And the last one is on gender mainstreaming. We have very strong policies that advocate for gender, and in our TVET institutions, we have officers who are in charge of gender mainstreaming, same as for the disability mainstreaming. So we have put those measures in place to ensure that everyone is included. In terms of financial, we have government scholarships and capitations, which also ensure members are catered for and the trainees are catered for according to their needs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. And I believe whenever we are having these discussions, it's important to take notes so that if there are any gaps or any questions or any additions you'd like to share with us, then you can be able to reach out to one of our panelists and just get clarification on that. So moving to Kelvin, what do you think is the role of industry when youth are trying to transition into decent work after TVET skills training?
Very much for that question. I'll start by giving a case study of our organization. We've been able to support over 300 youths in Dagoretti through skilling and employability, and been able to achieve 70% employment rate. And to achieve that in a country where youth unemployment is quite high, it requires quite a collaborative effort from all stakeholders, including the government, the industry association, and the employers. What we've done in our case is we began by understanding the labor market and the gaps and the skills that are needed out there, and then preparing our students for those careers that are marketable out there. Then one key thing that was beneficial to us is strategic partnerships with employers, so that once you train these youth, they have a ready job market already waiting for them. Then the other thing is apprenticeship program, especially for students who go through TVETs and go through trades and vocational training. Having them be able to practice on the job learning is a big deal to help them transition from training to employment. So we've been able to partner with Master Craftsmen to offer that on-the-job training and ensure that these students are fully baked by the time they are graduating. The other thing that we've done is entrepreneurship development, providing small business skills training, and also providing toolkits to enable these youth to go out and start their small enterprises. And so how do we also get such support from our employers? Now, employers need to create a pathway into the workforce for our youth, either through internships, apprenticeships, and also inclusive recruitment. Because one of the challenges we face with marginalized communities, especially youth from the slum areas, is the perception that is out there. You know, they are viewed as a burden, as a risk. And also the employer's requirement of, you know, a graduate to have, or rather a potential employee to have a number of years of experience. Where do you expect a graduate to get experience from? Employers need to create that opportunity and stop looking at just experience, but also focus on the potential of our youth so that they can give them an opportunity to learn on the job and eventually transition to full-time jobs. Now, when it comes to industry associations, I believe they are key players in this transition to employment by being able to provide the TVETs with research-based information about skill gaps. You know, what are those marketable skills? What are the employers looking for? So that the TVETs can actually prepare the youth for the actual job market. Now, when it comes to the government, the government also has to create an enabling environment through policies, through incentives, through internships, and also enterprise funding. And I want to appreciate the government because it's taking a major stride on that area through some of the flagship programs such as Nyota, that is empowering youths to be able to start their businesses, that is offering paid internships to students. So those are some of the ways that we can leverage these stakeholders to improve our employability. And it's believed that in Africa, the greatest resource that we have is not even the minerals, it's the human labor. And more so, the young people, because they're quite innovative, very talented. And so it's a high time all these stakeholders stop seeing the young people, especially vulnerable young people, as a risk or a tool to be used, you know, for bad political gains like Goonism that we are seeing in the country, and instead treat them as an asset for the transformation of this nation. Thank you very much.
That's very insightful, and thank you so much, Kelvin. We do realize that apparently there are very good policies that are there for inclusivity, which is great. We've also had one study, and of course, I've seen examples where actually youth are able to transition to employment through NRCF, Ngongoro Children Foundation programs. And now I'm wondering, before you transition to employment, before the policies are put into place, these youths have to be trained first. So Ms. Rachel Kimani, the question I have for you is, what are some of the barriers that you think are affecting some of the marginalized youth in accessing TVET skilling and education?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. There are many barriers that impede access to training for the youth and also for women, including those youths that could be living with disabilities. One of the barriers that affects access is financial, where these young people are not able to access the financial support that is required for them to be able to pay for their studies. However, the government, as has been said, ensures that some of them get scholarship funds and they are able to access. It may not be enough, but there are some who are able to access help through that way. Other governments, such as the county government, also help, including the members of parliament have a fund that assists some of them. Then the other barriers that come because of the social aspect of where the youth are found. Some of them, especially young girls, find themselves in the family where they become young mothers, and therefore that fact makes it almost impossible for them to continue with their education. There are others who are faced with the barrier of stereotyping, whereby especially girls, they are informed that some courses are not meant for them, and maybe they are only for the male student, and that means that this girl will not access such a course, especially in STEM. The other barriers, which are infrastructural, maybe in the way in which the institutions are planned. You may find that, especially for youths that are living with disability, they may not be able to access some of the facilities in an institution because the buildings, when they were constructed, did not consider that such needs needed to be taken into consideration. Of course, there is also the issue of the geographical spread of our TVET institutions. I know the government wants to ensure that in every constituency in Kenya, there is a TVET institution. However, some of the TVET institutions are very far away from where the youths are found. They may not afford the transport to those places. And even if there was transport, probably they may not afford the residential places that are being offered. And this youth, because of such impediments, which are both economical and also the spread of, in terms of geography, find themselves not being able to access education. Then there is also access to information. Much as we might think that information is out there, it may not be the case for every youth. Some of them do not know the programs that are offered in TVET institutions. Some may not also be aware that they could also get funding from the government or even from other institutions and sponsors. So access to information becomes a barrier. There is also the issue of, that has already been addressed, about the labor market. These youths may feel that the training in TVET is not going to be beneficial to them if they are not going to get employed. And therefore, they do not understand how the labor market is. Maybe the information, again, has not reached them to ensure that they know that as soon as they get trained and they have the skills that the industry needs, then they can get employment. Of course, the issues of policy are a key barrier to access, because in some institutions, policies may be there, but they are not being implemented, and therefore, this impedes the access to TVET training. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. That is very well outlined. And we can see that the policies are there. We can see that there are sponsors and organizations willing to support. And of course, we've also had the TVETs are also trying their best to ensure that the infrastructure, there's financing, there's bursary for youth and inclusion. So I'm wondering what partnership or what linkage is missing? And this is to Rachel Kiarithia. What are some of the partnerships do you think are critical to ensure that these the advantages of getting technical skills for economic empowerment is felt by the youth?
Thank you very much. We'll start by saying that creating an inclusive TVET ecosystem that leaves no one behind requires a deliberate alignment of policy frameworks, sustainable financing, and strategic partnerships. And I think that's where I'm going to begin. So those three pillars will determine whether youth, women, and persons with disabilities can access, can complete, and transition from training into decent work, entrepreneurship, thereby contributing to Kenya's socio and economic transformation. Number one, we want to look at some of the critical policies for inclusive TVET systems. We need to have TVET policy and competence-based education and training framework so that it can promote outcomes that are based training aligned to industry needs. This will also allow flexible learning pathways and recognition of prior learning. We will also support modular training that benefits workers, working learners, women with caregiving roles, and people with disabilities. Then we need to look at inclusive education and disability policies, whereby there is a mandate reasonable accommodation in all TVET institutions, the requirement of accessible infrastructure and assistive technologies, enforcing non-discrimination in admissions, training, and assessment, and the policies need to align with the Kenya Persons with Disabilities Act and related frameworks. The other thing is gender equality and youth empowerment policies that will promote affirmative action for women in STEM and technical trades, that will encourage equal participation in training and employment opportunities, and then integrate gender mainstreaming into curriculum and institutional governance. Then there is the national skills development and employment policies that will align training with labor market needs, that is demand-driven TVET, promote apprenticeship and dual training systems, strengthen school-to-work transition frameworks, and finally, social protection and decent work policies. Then we have said of critical financing mechanisms. We will talk of government funding and subsidies, whereby we can talk of capitation grants for TVET institutions. We can talk of fee subsidies for vulnerable learners. We can talk of public investment in infrastructure and equipment. Then there is the scholarships, the bursaries and equity funds, and somebody has mentioned about that. There is the National Youth, Women and Disability Funds, like the WESO Fund, that we need to encourage. There is also results-based financing, that is funding linked to performance indicators such as enrollment of marginalized groups, completion rates, job placement outcomes. Then we have public-private financing models, where we have industry co-financing for training programs, we have corporate social responsibility contributions, and we have employer-sponsored apprenticeships. We also have training levy systems, for example, the NITA model, where employer contributes, is used to fund skills development. We also support industrial training and apprenticeship programs. Finally, innovation and enterprise grants. Then, the other last critical component is partnerships for inclusive TVET ecosystems. We can say no single actor can achieve inclusion alone. Strong partnerships ensure there is alignment, there is resource sharing, and sustainability. So we can talk of government and industry partnerships, whereby we have co-design of curricula based on labor market needs. We have TVET institutions versus industry linkages, where we are talking of work-based learning placements. We have public-private partnerships, PPPs, where we talk of constructions and equipping of TVET centers, establishment of centers of excellence in priority sectors. We have shared investment in innovation hubs and incubation centers. Then we have partnership with development agencies and NGOs, support for disability inclusion programs, funding for gender equality initiatives, technical assistance and capacity building. Again, we have community and faith-based organizations, where we talk of mobilization and sensitization of learners, addressing cultural barriers affecting women and people with disabilities, supporting psychosocial and mentorship programs. And finally, financial institutions and microfinance partners, whereby there is access to affordable credit for graduates, tailored financial products for youth and women entrepreneurs, financial literacy training programs. And there is also technology and digital partners, provision of assistive technologies, development of accessible e-learning platforms, support for digital skills, online And there is cross-cutting enablers for inclusion. And therefore, to make these policies, financing, and partnerships effective, we must have strong governance and accountability. We have data-driven decision-making. We need to have capacity building, advocacy, and awareness. And thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that exhaustive interventions. Actually, that was going to be my next question, but I think that has been covered very well. Thank you, Ms. Carithia. And now to all the panelists, as we conclude, we do know that there are some courses that are usually more preferred by male or female. We all know, and I don't know if the statistic is right here at Kabete National Polytechnic. There, you might find in a class of mechanics, you have maybe less than 10% being women. So what do you think are some of the interventions for ensuring that these male-dominated trades, women can also participate? Do you think that is still the case, that we do have trades that only more male-dominated? And do you think there's a possibility that you can encourage more female in those particular trades? And how can we do that? Let's take probably a minute each. Whoever is ready can go ahead.
Yes, I think that has been a challenge for quite some while, but we are seeing a change. And I think what needs to be done is, for these young women who don't have somebody to look up to who is in those technical fields, and somebody to mentor them and work with them through that. That is a major gap. So we need to have an avenue for mentorship from those who've gone through that before, women in technical fields, to provide mentorship and show them that it's actually possible. In our organization, that is a key thing that we are also doing, trying to encourage our young women to explore technical fields. And even here, right now here at Kabete National Polytechnics, we have a few of our beneficiaries who are young women and taking those technical courses. So it is possible if we have proper mentorship structures for them.
Thank you very much, Kelvin. Anyone else?
Yes, the stereotypes are still there, but we have a role as society to encourage especially our female trainees to take up courses that are predominantly believed to be male. There are so many ways in which we can do that. We can start early, mapema dio best, so that we have mentorship programs starting from as early as primary school, where we have women in STEM or in technical fields going to the schools, encouraging the female students, both in primary and secondary schools, to take up those courses. We as TVET institutions can even offer services to such schools. Probably we said our female trainees in electrical, in mechanical engineering, to those schools and do some work there. Maybe there is a classroom being put up. We can send our female trainees in building and civil to go and do it. And when the students in those schools see that it is being done, then they will have a change of mindset. The institutions themselves, our TVET institutions, can also create a small fund to support the students, female students that take up technical courses, and that will encourage most of them to take those programs. Because like I said, one of the barriers is economical, it is financial. So if we encourage them by paying part of the tuition fee for them, they can easily take up those programs. We can also be very proactive in career guidance, especially when those seeking to join our TVET institutions come to us and they are asking about the programs that we have. We can shepherd them towards the TVET programs rather than those that are believed to be predominantly maybe female-based. I also notice in my institution that some of the programs in the technical field are very demanding. And when some of the female trainees face some impediments, like the one I mentioned about a trainee becomes a mother, she has a child, she's not able to attend all her practical lessons, and that impedes her qualification, then as a TVET institution, we can see how we can be able to help them. Probably we can come up with a daycare center like we have already done at Nyeri National Polytechnic. And these female trainees, all of them, not just those in technical fields, can leave their babies at the center. They attend class, they'll be able to attend all practical lessons, and they'll be able to qualify. So there are many ways. We can also lead them into getting sponsorships from companies, employers that are in the technical field. We can be proactive, visit Kenya Power or whichever other, can hire whichever other organization and seek sponsorship for our trainees, especially the female ones, so that they can easily access and complete their education. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. I know Madam Rachel has said almost all that I was planning to, but that is fine. And for me, I look at it in terms of addressing the issue, in passing out information. For me, information is very key, because as much as we may see it as an issue of exclusion, once we give them information and ensure that we have good career guidance, and in TVET we have career officers, and that should be part of what they should be doing to ensure that we have more ladies in STEM. Other than that, we have association like TVET, Women in Technology Education. We have representatives in a number of our TVET institutions, and their work is to champion the STEM programs for the lady students. And that is led by the trainers who are already female and are in STEM space, because they are better role models. When you see someone who is in that field and it's also a trainer in that institution and in that same field, it becomes easier for our students to take it up. Then we have the issue of lactation rooms, like Madam Rachel said. Other than lactation rooms, we are also advocating for changing rooms, good changing rooms for the girl child or girl children who are in STEM, because you don't expect them to come to school with overalls. They need privacy. They need somewhere where they can come, change, go for their practicals. After the practicals, then they can also take a shower and dress well and go back to the house. So those are some of the initiatives that TVET is trying to put in place. And also the role of alumni. You can also get alumni who have already trained in that particular program to come and talk to the students. That will be more impactful. So those are some of the measures. But as I said earlier, there are policies in TVET, and the role of TVET institutions is to implement, and as government, our work is to enforce. But I wanted to respond something to our panelists in relation to some of the initiatives, and it is worth noting that as TVET sector, we have undertaken quite a number of them, including recognition of prior learning, and we have Kabete as our main center for that. We have other issues on CBET framework. We already have a framework on CBET that makes sure that there is inclusion. There are also flexible learning models. Nowadays, we do modular programs which enable our trainees to learn within a short period and then get into the labor market. We also have other programs like dual training, which involves training with the industry. We have Jitume labs given by the government to ensure there is also access, virtual online access, and we also have policies in most of our TVETs. In terms of assistive technology for our TVETs that are special need TVETs, we normally give them some funds above what the other gets to ensure there is a bit of equalization in terms of technology. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope this particular session has been very productive. Something as a parting shot as we leave, did we know that 80% of Kenya's economy is actually fueled by the informal sector, the technical, the vocational, education and training. So that means 80% of our economy is being financed by the informal sector. So that means there's a space and there's a chance for us to ensure that everyone can be part of it. And that means not leaving anyone behind, whether they need extra care, whether they are a young woman, whether they are a person living with disability. And now we have internally and displaced people and refugees who are also being having inclusion issues. And Thank you so much, my panelists, for that informative discussion, for your time here. And thank you so much for giving us a chance to speak to all of you. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Let's appreciate them with another round of applause. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much to our first panelist this morning. I will ask that we exit the stage from this side, the right side, after that group photo. We have a few things for you, gifts. We are very kind people. We like to appreciate people in the best way that we know. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to once again ask that we engage fully in these discussions. We have been looking at enhancing inclusion of youth, women, and PWDs in skills and training. And I want to ask, do we have a question for this panel? Do we? Oh, we do. Please, before you leave, I will take 2 questions. So please walk to the front. Thank you. Please walk to the front so that we are able to hear your questions as well as see you on cameras. You can start by introducing yourselves.
Good morning. I'm Ruth Karaoke, a trainer in STEM. I'm in electrical engineering. My question is, we realize that Madam Rachel has said that we can start early, mapema ndio best, right? But now we have seen COOPs have really tried to include the girl child in terms of placement. But after first year, we really lose them. So how can we ensure that there is progression? How can we ensure that they don't drop off at first year? And what are the measures that we can do?
Thank you. My name is Felgona Rachilo. I'm a trainer of mass media studies here at Kabete National Polytechnic. We are talking about inclusion, especially for special needs learners, into TVET institutions. TVET is now 102 years old in Kenya. So when we talk about 4 or 5 institutions for special needs in the country, it's a bit insufficient, especially if you want to integrate or bring these learners into TVET learning. So I wanted to know some of the measures that we can put in place to transition into a more integrated system of learning, where we can have these special needs learners not limited to special institutions. I have a student who, his passion lies in journalism, but he is forced to go to a school for the blind, where they don't offer these courses. Can we have a more integrated system, where we have an integrated class with special needs learners and the regular learners, so that this integration is full? Yes. Are there such measures put into place?
Okay, thank you for those 2 questions. We will respond to them in, say, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I want to respond to the dropout level after first year. Yes, it may be the trend, but I want to assure the STEM female trainees who are here that us, as the managers of the TVET institution, we have a responsibility to ensure that our trainees, when they join our programs, they push up to the end. And there are so many ways that we can do that. And I have already alluded to some of them, like ensuring that they get a sponsorship, that they get the necessary infrastructure that is needed in case probably they have become a mother. But we can also look into pairing them up with other female students who have progressed into the second year or even into the third year, so that they become their mentors, kind of hold their hands. Also, as a head of department in the particular technical department, it is our responsibility to ensure that we leave no one behind. And for you as a class trainer, because I know I have class trainers here, or if you want, you can call them class teacher. We have a responsibility to find out, where did my trainee go? What is it that made this trainee drop out? It could be something that they felt they cannot deal with, but the moment they speak to you as a class trainer, you have an avenue. You can push it forward to management, and this trainee will be rescued, in quotes, and they will continue with their study. I feel so bad that a trainee alingangana hiyo yote kusoma secondary school akapita, akaigia college after first year, then they drop out. No female trainee and no male trainee should actually drop out before their issues have really been looked into. I believe, I'm a very firm believer, that there is a solution to every problem. Thank you.
All right, indeed, there is a solution to every problem. Yes, we respond to policy briefly.
I agree there's a big gap when it comes to integration, and especially to trainees with very specific needs. And I've taken that as a challenge because one thing I know, the 4 institutions that we have for the special needs institution may not be offering all the programs. And also it is not possible for some physical challenges to be integrated into the regular TVETs. It is very hard in some cases because it would require a lot of resources in terms of the human and also infrastructure. But I've taken that as a gap so that we ensure the few special needs institutions that we have in the country also have space for other programs so that we can have access in terms of programs, especially for those trainees who are not just interested in pursuing the technical programs that are offered in those institutions. So I take it up, and I know it's something that we need to follow up on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate this morning one time. I will ask that Madam Nagila comes on stage to just give you the gifts that we have. If we could have the ushers, please. In the meantime, Mr. Benedict Atavachi, you will be preparing to come on stage for the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, just to remind you that we are also live streaming this event on our pages, the Kabete National Polytechnic Facebook page and the YouTube page. So you can tell your friends who are not here to follow the discussions here on those pages. And that is why I was asking you to fill the seats in front of you. Uko kwa live stream tusikae ni kama hatuko. So if you can, just fill that seat that is in front of you so that we also look good online. Yeah? All right. So ladies and gentlemen, as we progress with the 4th International Research Conference, this second day of the conference, I want to invite on stage Mr. Benedict Atavachi, who is the CEO Youth Fund, for a keynote address on financing the transition from TVET to the labor market. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Benedict Atavachi. I will ask my 2 strong gentlemen to help me move the podium to the center. Where are they? Thank you so much for those of you who are moving to the front. Asanteni sana. Please, let's fill the seats in front of us. We are live on the pages and we'd like to look good as well. Asanteni sana. My 2 strong gentlemen, mko wapi? Yes, let's move the podium to the center for that keynote address. Or we can have volunteers. I think they left the dome. Okay.
the chief guest, distinguished guests, development partners, TVET leaders, industry representative, researchers, innovators, trainers, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Well, for the purpose of clarity, my name is Daniel Kimunya Madenge. I am here to represent the Chief Executive of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, who could not make it to this function. He had other commitments, and he therefore gave me the authority to come and represent the Youth Enterprise Development Fund for the purpose of giving this keynote address. I am the manager in charge of innovations and acquisition of space at the Youth Enterprise Development Fund. I shall therefore go ahead. But what I noted yesterday is that once the keynote speaker reads the address, it doesn't look very interesting. So I want us to engage as I give what the Youth Enterprise Development Fund does to the young people of this nation. I had given a PowerPoint presentation, which I would wish the person in charge can be able to display, so then we can be able to move together. The PowerPoint, please. Well, nevertheless, it's not available. I shall go ahead and present to you what we do at the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, and maybe just by show of hands.
It is available on the
thank
screen.
you. Thank you so much. So just go to the next page. Well, the Youth Enterprise Development Fund is a state corporation, or if you may wish, you can call it a SAGA, a semi-autonomous government authority under the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Art and Creative Economy. We were established back in 2007 under Legal Order number 63. Our key role is, just move ahead, the next. This basically is what we do. Number one is that we provide affordable access to finance. I know there are quite a number of young people that are here. They may want to start their own businesses, but they're struggling. And there are many ways in which you can both raise funds. Some you can borrow from friends. You can borrow from relatives. You can even borrow from the online money market, from the online apps. But what we've noted, what the government noted then is that, yes, funds are available, but how affordable are they? At the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, if you're a young Kenyan between the age of 18 to the age of 35, and you have a good business idea, or you have acquired a place where you need to supply items, you have an LSO or an LPO, or you just want to start a business, you don't need to struggle. You just need to come to us, and we'll be able to give you money starting from Kenya shillings, 100,000 Kenya shillings, up to 7 million Kenya shillings, depending on your ability to repay the money. And how do we give this money? There are various channels in which we can be able to give you, in that if you come to us and you don't have any form of security, we start you off as a group loan. We need you to come together as a group, and in that group you're able to secure yourself. So we don't need you to have any form of security. If you can form yourself into an organized group, we'll start you up with 100,000 Kenya shillings, then move it to 200,000 Kenya shillings, from 200,000 Kenya to 400, over to 600,000 Kenya shillings, and then to 1 million Kenya shillings. So if you're here, you're seated, you want to do business and you don't know where to start from, we have offices in all the 47 counties. Or if you go to any of your county, wherever you come from, we have an office there. Or you need to form a group once you come out of this place. And even if you're here and you want to start a business, we'll be there for you. Number two is that we can give you money as an individual. Bado hatujafika hapo. Mnakimbia sana. That's what we do. You're still on the first. Yeah. We can also give you money as an individual. This is what we call the VUCA loan, where we start you off with a range of 100,000 Kenya shillings up to 5 million Kenya shilling. But this basically is a business expansion loan, which we advance to individuals or companies, or registered, any form of company that recognizes as a registered business in Kenya. We'll start you off with 100,000 Kenya shillings, and it has a component of asset financing. As we move forward, we're able to see a clip where we've been able to find young people with a track of up to, which is worth 5 million Kenya shillings. So you can come to us and acquire loan as an individual or as a group. So do not sit here. If you have places where you can be able to supply, do not be afraid of looking for jobs to make supplies. We'll be there for you. The second, go back to the second clip. The second, the one that had the mandates. The first, yeah, this one. Our next mandate is capacity building, training, mentorship, and coaching. Sometimes young people come to us and tell us they want to start a business. But if you ask them whether they have a business that is registered, they have no idea that once you can be able to trade in a name that is not yours. So this is the department that deals basically with that. So what we do is that we take you through the process of business registration, how to pay taxes. Najua hiyo topic ampendi sana, lakini serikali lazima tulipe ushuru. So we take you through that. We mentor you once you start a business. We're able to coach you as you run your business up to a point where it is able to start on its own. And we walk you through the journey. How do you manage your customers? How do you do public relations? How do you manage your systems? What are the available systems that you can be able to engage so that you can run your business well? So this is a fully fledged department within the Youth Enterprise Development Fund that is there for the young people between the age of 18 to the age of 35 to be able to make you so that you can be able to run your business. Number 3, we have market support and business linkages. We do understand that sometimes when you do production, the supply chain system in this country sometimes may not be very favorable to the young people. In that you'll find someone who's done tomato farming somewhere in Lokicho, in Loitoktok, and they're looking for market and they can not be able to find the market. So essentially what we do there is that we support you. We link you up to the big small companies to big companies, so that as you do your production, you're able to make sure that you know where your product shall go. If you're doing kama unafanya saga farming pande ya Busia and you don't know where to do to take them once they grow, this is the department to go to. You'll talk to them. They'll be able to get market for your products. They also deal with contract farming, where they deal with big companies, such that as you start farming, they already have a contract, what you call a forward price for you, and by the time you harvest, they know where to take your product. The last one, the second last one is commercial infrastructure. This is where I had. This is the department that I had. So basically, I'm sure for those that were here yesterday, you had the PS Housing mention that they would be open to you having a space here. And then when that space is available, students that do various courses here, they can be able to go and do the trade there, and they're able to get some little money. So basically what we do at commercial infrastructure is that we do find spaces where young people can be able to do business. For those that have been in Nairobi long enough, there was a time there used to be serious fights between the kanjos and the business traders, especially along Nyamakema, area Nyamakema. And then the government thought it would be wise because basically the people that were doing those kind of trades were the youth of this nation. So this under this department, what we do is that we look for commercial spaces. We talk to the county government, we talk to private sector, and we're able to acquire spaces. And when that space has been acquired, we do construct modern market stalls, and these stalls are located to the young people of this nation. They are given to youth. We've done this in Nakuru. We've done 150 modern market stalls. But as time moved, we've realized that we also need to go to the digital space. So we are also very much into this space. As late as I think last month, we had a very engaging partnership with the Meta on how to teach young people to engage the digital economy and creative economy, so that when they're able to create content, they know how to open monetization accounts on Facebook and any other social media platform, and from that they're able to earn. So basically, under commercial infrastructure, we do both physical and commercial infrastructure and virtual infrastructure, where we're able to support young people to be able to earn and make an income online. Still under this, we also support incubation. We also support innovation. One of the biggest challenges for innovators in this country is that most of them, when they walk into a bank and they need financing, the first thing the bank will ask them are the basic questions. So you'll be asked, do you have a bank statement? Do you have what is your, the very best, or how does your statement look like? Does it support you to pay? But then the question we need to ask ourselves is, if you're an innovator, do you have money before you do an innovation? See, innovation is a gift, it's a talent that you get from God. So what we do is that we have a very good way of financing innovators under this case, where we don't require you to have any form of any form of asset, or any form of we just need you to come. We negotiate under what we call the equity negotiations, where you just cede a portion of your shares under what we call the venture capital or private equity, venture capital, private equity, or angel capital. We put our money to just support your innovation, and once it's been of traction, then we exit. One of the biggest challenges that we find with innovators in this country is that their prototypes are not well refined to be able to face the market. In that, if you compare a prototype in Kenya to a prototype maybe from the Silicon Valley or from China, you'll find that they're not well refined that they can be able to face the market. If, for example, you look at most of the innovation that even if those that are on display, even probably from here, you realize that they need a lot of refinement so that they can be able to hit the market. And that's where we come in. We put our investment to make sure that this innovation is very refined, and when it gets to the market, it can be able to meet the international standard. And that is where we will find the role of commercial infrastructure and support for incubation to the youth enterprises. The last mandate that we do, and this one I want you to be very, very keen, is what we call basically labor mobility. Most of you have had Kenyans going out of the country, and they have had some very nasty experiences. You find someone has gone to the Gulf, and a few days down the line, there are complaints on how they are doing there, and they don't end up coming in very good state. And what the Youth Fund has been doing is that we do realize that in as much as we support entrepreneurs, not everyone can become an entrepreneur. So there are people here, even as I speak, when I walk out, I know they'll come and give me their CVs. And that is okay, because all of us cannot be the same. That's why you'll find some of us are tall, some are short, some are brown, some are light, some are dark, and that's how God created us. So for those that cannot be able to get, or do not want complete to get in the world of business, we have a very, very good product for you called the labor mobility. And what basically we do with labor mobility, and I want you to be very keen on this, is that we work with licensed agents, not any other agent. We work with licensed agent and an air. And once they get their job, there are procedures we require them to follow. You go apply, you get the job. Once you have been able to acquire the job, we facilitate you with all the requirements that are required for you to be able to take up that job, be it visa application, medical, or even airfares. We come in and give you that facilitation. But this facilitation is not for free. When then you go out of the country and you earn, you make sure that you pay back that money. Recently, we have had some very interesting engagement with the government of United Kingdom. They have been taking a lot of our graduates. Actually, they're not graduates. So they have an arrangement with, I think, the college in Nyeri, Bukura, and Meru. So what happens is that the youth in those institutions have an opportunity to go work in the United Kingdom for 6 months before they complete their courses. So if the opportunities happen to arise, the colleges send the vacancies to them. The student make an application. Then the recruiting agent from the United Kingdom comes and does the recruitment. Once the recruitment is complete and you are successful, you are given an offer letter. And on the basis of that offer letter, we are able to finance you with up to 300,000 Kenya shillings. And with that financing, you're able to go to the United Kingdom, work for 6 months, na unarudi hapa kama sasa huko analipa in sterling pound. Some very good money. So what I've noted is some of these young people that we financed to go to the United Kingdom, within 2 to 3 months, they'll have paid back all their money, and from there they're able to make some good money. So kwa wale mafans wa Arsenal na Manchester United, badala ya kuona mpira kwa nini kwa screen, you work hard, go work there for 6 months, and you come back with money. Sindio? So that is basically it on youth employment scheme abroad. It's a very interesting product, and we really want young people to be able to take up this product because it's very much available, and the government of Kenya has been very, very keen on this product, and we do want to see to it that if you're here, you are able to take advantage of it. Last but not least, I think with TVET institutions and the leadership of TVET institutions that are here, we have noted that for a very long time, we have not been able to do much with you. So going forward, and we had a very interesting engagement with the leadership yesterday, is that we want to be fully engaged because we do note that, and the PS spoke a lot about the input and outcome. I think outputs and outcomes. So we want to occupy that space where we'll be the biggest facilitator to ensure that research and development that come from either universities or institutions of higher learning, we are able to put our money into it, and from there, youth are able to be able to make money from those research and development. So we don't want them to gather dust at the shelves. The Youth Enterprise Development Fund would be more than willing to take up investment or innovations that are coming up from TVET, finance them. Then once they are able to get traction in the market, and we've been able to finance them with their money either through equity, where a young person who has an innovation is able to seed some number of shares to the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, then we can able to take it up, push it back to the market. Once now it gets traction, we can dispose of our equity because they're not very keen on retaining equity in such companies, and then the youth can be able to pick up those to pick up their business from there. And I think that's what happens even in the West. So that is some kind of what we call the lion's den or the shark den. Then youth is able to pick up from there, from where the government will have left. I think with those very many remarks, I want to say thank you for those that are able to attend, and I hope to be engaging you off the stage so that we can be able to see how best we can be able to drive innovations within TVET, and how best we can be able to engage you in other industry players in these sectors. Thank you so much for listening to me, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate him with a round of applause. Makofi ya kilo tafadhali kwake. On stage, I will invite Madam Hani to appreciate our guest for a beautiful presentation, a powerful presentation, and indeed very great insights. Madam Hani, are you here? Yes, we have a gift for you for that powerful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier in the morning, I asked you to look at your neighbor straight in the eye, right? You did look at them. So I want you to look at them again, straight in the eye, and confirm whether what you agreed in the morning happened. You told them not to sleep, sindio? Do they look like they slept? So give them a thumbs up, and then give them a clap. Amazing. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make, and it is good news after good news after good news. When the chief principal walked out of this dome, he said he was going somewhere for an event with the president, and so he has sent a message here. If we could have that displayed. Do we have it ready? He says that he attended the National Productivity Performance Conference 2026, and Kabete National Polytechnic has been awarded the Best Performance Tertiary Institution Award, second runners-up. And that is the photo right there. Isn't that good news? Makofi ya Kabete National Polytechnic, tafadhali. So I want to ask us to do something, and I want us to be truthful men and women. Si mnajua mambo ya truthful men and women? Because I know we've been sitting for a while, I will allow us to stand kidogo and stretch, but you have to promise that you're not going to walk out. Are you promising that? Yes or no? Eh? Can I trust you with that? We only have a few hours to go, then we wind up and go for lunch and call it a day. Sawa sawa. So let's stand, stretch kidogo. DJ, if you could give me Oskido dance. Kuna baridi kidogo. Oh. Before that, where are the gifts? Oh, sawa. Let's appreciate our keynote speaker. He's been standing for so long. Asitoke mkono mtupu. Please approach the podium, and then pose for a photo as you receive your gift. Makofi kidogo. Another keynote speaker before we transition to our very last panel of the day. I want to invite on stage our keynote speaker to speak on technology-driven TVET transformation. His name is Dr. TVET Desai. He's the chairperson, Centurion Systems Limited. Let's put our hands together for Dr. TVET Desai, even as he comes on stage. Makofi ya kilo kwake. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here this morning to attend this dialogue on research and science and technology and the very important role that TVET plays within the context of development throughout all avenues and affairs of a country. I too practice a TVET skill within the context of the work that I do at Centurion Systems, an organization that I founded some 35 years ago. Centurion Systems Limited was a pioneer for repairing electronic printed circuit boards. This is something that I still do today. It requires a high level of skill and competency. These printed circuit boards are found everywhere today, in aircrafts, in industries, in medical equipment, in communication systems, in hospitals, on farms, agricultural technology, in electric vehicles, in normal combustion vehicles. A very critical component. Many of these components, of course, and the majority of components come from abroad as spares or parts within a vehicle or machinery. whether it's an aeroplane, a ship, a helicopter, they're highly expensive and highly critical pieces of equipment. These technologies determine the life of a machine. If when they fail, the entire factory stops, an entire plane is grounded. And so over the last 35 years, we've been focusing on, one, how to repair these electronic printed circuit boards. We have a great passion for this work. It's a lot of hands-on work when you're working with a soldering iron, multimeter, test tools, and other kinds of systems to find which component is faulty in order for the machinery to be put back into operation. But there's another reason too. By being able to repair this technology, we're self-reliant as a country. We're no longer dependent on the supply of the machinery. So when the machine fails and we're able to repair this to component level, then we're able to ensure that we are self-reliant, that we're able to manage our own downtime. You can imagine if an aircraft is down, or an entire milk production system is down, or an entire pumping station for a farm is down. What is the cost? It's huge, because that machinery is no longer available for use. And therefore, the cost escalates. Some organizations have taken loans. These become a challenge to pay because the machinery is down. Yet another reason why this is absolutely crucial is we manage obsolescence. We cannot be, our continuity as businesses and industries cannot be determined by the unavailability of spare parts when manufacturers abroad have said that they no longer produce this spare part, and therefore your machine is obsolete, and please buy a new machine. Our economies of scales are different. So that ability to ensure that we're able to manage obsolescence becomes critical. It could be a baby incubator in a hospital or an X-ray machine. So how do you expect an institution now to buy a new piece of technology, a new system? It's costly, it's critical, it's health critical, it's mission critical. So managing obsolescence is absolutely crucial. But further to that, we all know that these electronic cards, and yet another reason, is that they're made of high-value material, of course, silicons and various other kinds of materials. But the biggest challenge we have today is that these are not biodegradable, which means that, when we don't repair machinery and we simply throw it into the garbage, it ends up into the soil. And as a result, it creates toxins. It creates a challenge for it to be, once again, part of Earth. And so the biggest challenge we have here is e-waste and the challenges we have surrounding that. So ladies and gentlemen, I just thought I'd bring this to you to show you what I do on a day-to-day basis. I run a company that repairs these electronic systems. As a result, we repair aircrafts, industries, medical equipment, communication systems, all the different kinds of factories that exist, all the kinds of communication systems, but founded on, the repair of electronic printed circuit boards. The second thing, of course, that Centurion does is it's a champion for Industry 4. Industry 4 technologies have become highly pervasive. They are found everywhere. In every single kind of machinery and technology, there exists Industry 4. And Industry 4, in essence, and the short of it, consists of automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, data analytics, electronic systems like the one I'm holding, and various other kinds of technologies all incorporated to provide solutions for productivity, innovation, and efficiency. And that is why technology is so crucial. It's become one of the most important facets in terms of an enabler to development, an enabler for productivity, innovation, and efficiency. And it clearly determines whether an organization is competitive, whether it's going to succeed in the market, whether a product is appropriate for the market. All of this is determined by technology and the importance of technology. And so, of course, I'd like to highlight today at the technology-driven TVET transformation that indeed technology is absolutely crucial. It's a catalyst, it's a crux. And the more we promote a dialogue as we're doing today, the greater we have an understanding in terms of how we're able to adopt and adapt these systems, how we're able to understand their characteristics. Indeed, technical vocational training is a critical component of this. As I mentioned earlier, in repairing these electronic systems, a high level of standards are required in training. Understanding the characteristics, understanding how systems fail, how systems can be maintained, repaired, how they can be adopted and adapted to be configured so that we're able to create outcomes of greater levels of productivity, innovation, and efficiency. I've also mentioned the fact that that technology is rapidly changing. It's a huge dynamic shift, which means that continuous professional development, skills, and training are absolutely crucial. One of the things that Centurion does is we provide training too for train the trainer programs, where we train them on electronics, robotics, mechatronics, but we also train students who would like to have an industry relevant certificate, which in essence means a certificate which is tied to a manufacturer, like for example Siemens or Bosch and Festo and other technology providers. TVET institutions must transform to prepare learners for Industry 4 and future workplaces. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'd mentioned and as I described to you, I'm literally from industry just now. This afternoon, I'm going to be visiting an e-mobility organization which makes buses based on EV technologies. And once again, we'll be talking about the repairability of their systems and technologies. I can't stress enough that technology is an absolutely crucial area of engagement, and it's only technical vocational training institutions that can actually achieve this, because you're skills orientated. And therefore, you are the actual bedrock of how we're going to maintain systems, how we're going to repair systems, and how we're going to transform technologies as we go along. The fact that Industry 4 is absolutely crucial is yet an area that TVET institutions now have to take up, because you've done so well in laying the foundations with respect to the necessary policies like competency-based education and training. CBIT essentially comes from this. In everything that we do, we have to train to a standard that's measurable, a measurable standard that has been defined by industry. The manufacturer of this board has developed this board using standards. Our ability to train to ensure that we're able to test devices, test voltages, remove components, place them back, is based on standards. If we are not able to adhere to those standards, then something catastrophic can happen. The plane can fall out of the sky, the ship can stop working, the lift can fall. So many things can go wrong. And so standards have to be embodied in all forms of training and technology-related work, and really is the foundation of technology. Ladies and gentlemen, TVET needs to constantly be in transformation. The policies of recognition of prior learning, the policies of dual training, work-integrated learning, these are all concepts and ways in which we're able to keep up with the growing demand that exists within industry. And specifically, the skills transformation that needs to happen. We all know that while I can repair these electronic printed circuit boards, I can pick up other skills that enable me to increase and have a more enhanced livelihood. And so that ability to efficiently acquire skills becomes absolutely critical in everyone's life. Ladies and gentlemen, this then reflects back into our classroom, all that I've said. What are the key pillars of technology-driven TVET transformation? Today we witness various options in order to quickly be able to, for instance, repair an electronic machine. These include ways in which we efficiently are able to achieve that standard. Smart classrooms, for instance, online trainings, virtual simulations, access to digital learning resources and e-libraries. It becomes impossible to acquire technologies that enable us to repair this at a normal TVET institution. Repairing printed circuit boards require a lot of equipment and systems, oscilloscopes, signal generators, multimeters, advanced IC test systems. They could be in the tune of around $2 million. That's approximately what we have spent at Centurion over the last 35 years. And so it becomes absolutely necessary that we embody simulation-based training, because while the physical equipment is very costly, the possibility that we promote work-integrated learning, dual training systems, but most importantly that our classrooms have simulations becomes absolutely critical, because it's through simulations that a young person is able to gain confidence, to have an idea in terms of how to strategize on repairing these systems, an aircraft, an industry, a medical equipment, and so on. And through this, they're able to efficiently acquire the necessary skill and pathway, which then ultimately leads them to the real system. So when we don't have equipment within TVET institutions, it's not an excuse not to go forward and still ensure that we train to a high level of standards as well as applicability. We have to turn to other creative ways, and those include simulations as well as digital learning resources. Skills like and capacities are becoming more and more complex in the industrial environment that I serve on a day-to-day basis. They're complex because of high levels of integration. If I take you to any of these modern factories today, they have huge integrated platforms of pneumatics, hydraulics, programmable logic controllers, electrical systems, and this becomes a challenge to replicate within the context of an institution. Increasingly, the challenge of having systems that are embodied as far as artificial intelligence, robotics and automation, Internet of Things, data analytics, and cloud computing and smart manufacturing is in itself found within industry, but increasingly difficult to replicate in a TVET institution. It's for that reason why it's critical that we constantly transform the trainings environment and the learning environment to reflect and to mirror what exists within industry. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're aware that I've long advocated for industry partnerships and a strong collaboration between TVET institutions and productivity, more needs to be done in terms of providing the value proposition for this partnership, as opposed to simply requesting for it or promoting the obligation. There's a genuine value with respect to ensuring that institutions partner with industry. Centurion Systems partners with Kabete Polytechnic for various reasons. We try to find ways in which we obtain the most relevant resources as far as people are concerned. But we also would like to, in the future, develop further capacities for mechatronics and other forms of technologies. as well as provide train-the-trainer programs. For us, it's a meaningful relationship because it enables us to better prepare and have better prepared technical skills for the availability of industry. But how the approach is developed within industry-specific partnerships becomes absolutely crucial. The importance of creating innovation and entrepreneurship hubs, establishing innovation hubs as well as encourage problem solving and product development, and the support of startups becomes absolutely crucial. The promotion of commercializations and innovations. Even in the industry that I'm in, we're constantly looking at ways in which we can serve the market. Today, new technologies are coming up. E-mobility, various other forms of markets are coming up. And how do we partner within this context to ensure that we're able to address an opportunity in the market? This requires close collaboration. It requires the ability for us to have an insight, an understanding, research, but have clear pathways in order to approach a market. This can only be done using partnerships within industry and TVET institutions. And if we don't do this, then companies like Centurion Systems will perish because out there the market changes rapidly and it's incredibly dynamic. And so if we're not able to keep up with the expectations of the market, we also have to close. And this is one of the reasons why it becomes absolutely crucial to partner. Fortunately for us, competency-based education training and the policy itself helps us dialogue. When I say that I need someone to test a particular IC to a standard, it's a dialogue. It's a formation of trust. When that happens, we're at the same length. The standard itself is the foundation of trust. And that enables me to clearly tell the market that I will be able to deliver to a particular standard based on the training that has been achieved to a particular standard. Ladies and gentlemen, the role of emerging technologies is absolutely critical. Literally, they have to be invested and tried over here within polytechnics like TVET. The resources to ensure that virtual reality for technical simulations are absolutely crucial. Augmented reality for equipment training, artificial intelligence for personalized learning, digital twins for engineering, manufacturing training, smart devices for remote monitoring and diagnostics. You can see how broad the world has become and how technologically driven it is. Such kinds of technologies help us create a virtual environment. You don't really need to be on an aircraft to be repairing something, but you could start by virtual reality, and this then would have a huge impact as far as the transformation of your careers as well as the training systems that provide transfer of technology to students. Ladies and gentlemen, there are various benefits with respect to technology-driven TVET. They include, of course, greater levels of quality and skills and competencies within the aspects of ensuring that graduates are able to effectively arrive at markets. But most importantly, as a gentleman earlier said, that the national government is funding innovations and startups. Well, ladies and gentlemen, until I couldn't repair these equipment to a particular standard, I was not in business. So initially, there was a time when I was not able to repair efficiently and effectively. But until I was able to achieve a standard, that made me not only employable, but enabled me to set up my own company. So once again, standards play a massive role, and all that I have been discussing today is anchored on standards. And this enhanced technology can address some of the challenges that we've said with respect to limited digital infrastructure, high cost of modern training equipment, need for continuous trainer upskilling and digital literacy gaps, as well as funding and sustainability models. So the strategic recommendations are as follows. We need to increase investment in digital infrastructure, strengthen public-private partnerships, modernize TVET curricula regularly, promote research, innovation, and technology transfer, and establish regional centers of excellence for advanced technical skills. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, once again, indeed, it's been a delight to be here. And I look forward to being part of the journey of ensuring that TVET institutions become centers of innovation and technologies, graduates become creators of jobs and not only job seekers, that we create stronger linkages between industry and education and economic development systems based on what I've discussed as far as Centurion systems and KBT, and that we collectively promote a sense of shared responsibility towards ensuring that we have a skilled workforce capable of driving national and industrialization and global competitiveness within the country. I thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing this partnership between KBT and Centurion Systems. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's appreciate him with a 5 factorial clap. Ile niliwafunza jana, sio? Daktari, please do not leave the stage.
Just, if there's some young students who follow this passion of mine, then you must come to Centurion, yes? And because I'm also getting old, and I'm looking for young people to sort of take over this passion. Thank you.
Okay, do not leave the stage yet. That's how you get opportunities. Backbenchers, mnasikia? That's how you get opportunities. Ensure you network. He has given you that window that you can be able to join them. All right, now I want to invite Mr. Njao to please appreciate our keynote speaker. We have a gift for him. We like to appreciate people for a job well done. Makofi, makofi kidogo. Beautiful, amazing. Thank you, Mr. Njao. Thank you, Daktari, for a well done, very insightful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the end. We are approaching the end. Today, we will not have the afternoon session. So once we are done with this, we will be done. And we want to get into enhancing quality and relevance in training. We want to get into enhancing quality relevance in training. And that panel will be led by Dr. Nyambura, who is the CEO, Signox. Dr. Nyambura, if you're in the building, please make your way to the stage. Let's appreciate her. We have Mr. Timothy Nyongesa Katiambo, who is the acting DG TVET. He will be part of that panel. Mr. Timothy Nyongesa, come to the stage. Not present. Is he being represented? Okay. We have Dr. Alice Kande, CEO KNQA. Dr. Alice Kande, not yet here. Being represented? Okay. We have Professor Kisilu Kitainge, CEO TVET SIDAC. Okay, he's being represented. And we have Dr. Edwin Tano, who is the CEO, Kenya School of TVET, being represented. Okay, let's appreciate her as she comes on stage. And then we have Mr. Musa Opuk, who is the Manager, Industrial Training Development from NITA. Are you in the building or are you being represented? Okay, sawa sawa. So that is our second and last panel of the day, enhancing quality and relevance in TVET training. It will be led by Dr. Nyambura, who is the CEO Signox. So ladies and gentlemen, let's stay put, let's engage fully, okay?
Thank you so much, Madam MC. Thank you for this particular opportunity.
Just a minute. I think I skipped something. That was an oversight from my end. We have Mr. Stanley Mindy. He's the Director, RPL Delivery Unit. So sorry for that. Please let's appreciate him as he comes on stage.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. We want to talk about enhancing quality and relevance in training. And just by a way of definition, quality is the degree to which we achieve requirements. And when we talk about relevance, we are talking about being able to achieve or to get to the goals. So without much ado, I would want to allow the panelists to introduce themselves. I will start from my far right. Karibu sana saa.
I'm Dr. Peter Wekesa. I'm representing the CEO, Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Stella. I'm representing the CEO, TVET SIDAC.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyce Baraza, representing the CEO, Kenya School of TVET. Thank you.
And I'm the forgotten Stanley Maindi, Director Recognition of Prior Learning Delivery Unit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Mr. Stanley Maidi, we are sorry for that. Please accept our sincere apologies. My name is Dr. Nyambura Geshimo. I am the Managing Director, Signox Limited. We also deal with the issues of operational efficiency, enhancing operational efficiency, and we are also developing products based on artificial intelligence. I want to maybe go straight to TVET SIDAC, and just wondering that in the world of work is changing very rapidly, of course, due to issues that we have talked about, automation, artificial intelligence, green economy, and all that. And we have been able to hear that conversation from Dr. Desai. How can TVET institutions continuously review programs to ensure that the people we let out of the market are actually the people who are required by the industry? I know that that is based on the programs that we have. Karibu, madam.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, moderator. I hope you can hear me. The microphone is not so. Thank you, moderator. From what I understand about your question, it is aligning training with the labor market needs. And TVET SIDAC deals with curriculum development, assessment, and certification. So that is what SIDAC stands for, Curriculum Development, Assessment, and Certification Council. And we develop curriculums that are used by TVET institutions. We also develop the assessment tools that are used to assess, and then we certify. And we know that we are offering a CBET program. The CBET program is competency-based education and training. And how we ensure that that aligns to the labor market needs is, I'll talk about three things. The first one is industry-led curriculum development. So we find that we have national occupational standards. They are currently domiciled in the Ministry of Labor. And those national occupational standards have been developed by the sector skills advisory committees who comprise of industry experts. And they actually look at what is done in the world of work, so that the curriculum is based on what is required in the world of work. And that is the curriculum that our TVET institutions administer to the trainees through the competency-based education and training. And then we also have industry involvement in our assessment processes. So at TVET SIDAC, we, apart from involving industry at the level of curriculum development, we also involve them in assessment during the practical assessment. They also engage in curriculum review. So when we are reviewing the curriculum, the industry is involved so that if there are new issues that come up, like in the case when we had COVID-19, we realized that now we needed to include PPEs and other protocols in the health sector that initially were not there. So you find that with the review, we are constantly improving. And then if I can just add to what the previous speaker, Dr. Desai, has just talked about, he also talked about industry linkages and partnerships. So we find that when our trainees go to the field, they are actually working in industry. In the previous panel, we had somebody from the State Department, Madam Koigi. She talked about the dual training. And I somewhere on the program that they are going to talk about, there's going to be a key address on dual training. So through the dual training, the learners actually, the trainees actually learn when they are in industry. So you find that a lot of time is spent in industry and what is currently happening. So those are some of the ways that TVET SIDAC is ensuring that the graduates are fit for the labor market. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to cut you short, moderator. So for our panelists, I am informed by the technicians, the sound technicians, that you hold the mic to the neck, not the tail. It doesn't keep breaking. Up here, as you speak, yes. Let's hope it solves the problem. You can proceed.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kisaka. Maybe we can move to Madam Joyce Barasa. We would want maybe to talk about trainer capacity and probably the issues of future skills. And this is because we insist that the trainees must be ready for the industry. And allow me maybe to ask one, could be an uncomfortable question. What would happen if we dropped some of our trainers in today's workplace? Would industry be ready for them? Because technology is really evolving, then the question is, how do we ensure that the trainers remain current and industry relevant? Apart from the trainees, we also talk about the trainers. Karibu sana, madam.
Thank you so much, moderator. The question is, if we dropped the trainer or the trainees, the graduates?
The trainer. We are talking about trainer capacity.
Yes.
So the question is, we have always insisted that the trainees should be ready for the market.
Yes.
And here, maybe the question is about when we are talking about including internship for the trainers. We have heard about that. We have had that direction, and sometimes it has not been taken, probably with the weight that it deserves. Would we, if we dropped a trainer into the industry today, we drop them where Daktari works, would they be ready the same way we talk about the trainees need to be ready? Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Let me start by saying that before we talk about the quality of the graduate whom we are releasing to the job market, we need to talk about the quality of the trainer, as she has rightly put it. And the question she's putting across is a very critical question. We have trainers in our TVET institutions. She's asking, if we took them to the industry, we expose them to a given machine, for example, will they be able to operate that machine? Will they be able to perform the work? If they are in the industry, there are some tasks they're supposed to deliver on. Will they be able to deliver on? I'm afraid to say that they may not be, not 100% may be able to do that. Why? One of the reasons is that for a long time, trainers were not undertaking continual development programs. Thank God that now Kenya School of TVET is in place, and our mandate is to ensure that trainers are continuously retooled. Because we are in teacher preparation, our retooling is mainly on pedagogy and didactics. We expect that will coordinate their trainers to go to the industry for upskilling. For us as KSTVET, we have a program where every holiday we have about 15 of our trainers in their respective industries upskilling in their skill areas, so that we don't only focus on pedagogical upskilling and also on leadership upskilling, and we forget about skilling in the skill areas where they're supposed to be training the youth. I always ask my trainers, sometimes when we are having our meetings, if you're a trainer who is scoring 50% in your skill area, because when they come to us, we still subject them to skill area. We don't rely on what they learned wherever they were. So they come to us, we take them through the skilling again, and we take them through pedagogy. And so I ask them, if you are going to be the trainer in a TVET institution and you are scoring 60%, what do you expect that trainee you are going to teach to score? Maybe 10%, maybe 20%? And so this trainer who may be scoring 60% definitely is not competent. So there, I agree with Madam, we have a problem. We have to strengthen continuous professional development of TVET trainers, not just in a few areas, but specifically in the skill areas. And this can only be done effectively if these trainers are attached to the industries, their respective industries. If you're an electrical engineer, go where the industry for that trade is. Learn with the modern machines so that when you come to class, you know exactly what you're talking about. I know cases where our trainees, when they go out for industrial attachment, they are exposed to the latest machines. And when they come back to the TVET institutions, they can even teach the teacher because they have more competence in that area than the teacher. And another issue is that in our TVET institutions, what kind of equipment, machines, tools, generally, what resources are they using? What have we provided for them to use? Because a teacher requires resources. So if the teacher is using the machine of 1900, the industry is using modern machines, the teacher will be forced to train the trainee using the machines, the tools available. And when they go to the industry, they will definitely not be able to perform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Joyce Barasa, for that. We would want to move to Dr. Peter Wekesa and maybe stop from where Madam has stopped. At the heart of Kenya National Qualification Authority, and we know that we are talking about quality in terms of qualifications, in terms of when we say mastery, it is mastery. And from where she has stopped, maybe you may need to answer me this or not to answer me, but from where you sit, maybe as a food for thought because of time, do you think that then industry attachment for trainers should be made mandatory? Just a food for thought. You may not answer me on that, but then my question is, what measures are being implemented coming from where she's coming from to strengthen quality assurance, accreditation, and recognition of qualifications?
Yeah, thank you so very much, moderator, and for this opportunity. I know time is not on our side, but the issues being raised here finds solutions at the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. Really, The authority was established through the Act of Parliament to ensure harmony in education and training. That qualifications awarded are of high value, that is credibility, can be trusted by employers, and of course can be compared nationally and internationally. The authority was established to develop a framework and maintain the framework. That is the Kenya National Qualification Framework. This is an learning outcome based. The framework is outcome based. Now, to operationalize the framework, the authority has competently developed various policies through multi-sectoral, multi-agency approach. That is, we bring together players from other ministries, government agencies, partners, and also professional bodies to develop a policy that is trusted by everyone. Now, to answer your question one, the question about Kenya School of TVET, retooling of teachers, yes, it's a requirement. We are developing a micro-credential policy framework, specific for specific skill. Dr. Desai has alluded that really we need to keep at pace. Without well-harmonized way of retooling trainers, retooling other players in educational training, we may not understand the concept of quality. So the framework is being developed through a stakeholders approach. It is at another level. We are soon going to have targeted stakeholders engagement. Then we'll have stakeholders validation before we seek for various approvals. The authority has also developed a recognition of prior learning policy that you are all aware of. For us, we develop systems that create harmony that will be used by all players in educational training. Think of other qualification awarding bodies outside the Ministry of Education. We have like, you go down there, we have Bandari Maritime in a different ministry. We have Kenya Red Cross in a different ministry. We have other players like CASNEP. They're all using these policies developed by Kenya National Qualification Authority. The essence is to ensure a standardization, the way we undertake education and training that leads to a award of a qualification. So to this end, we have developed the policy framework on recognition of prior learning that is being implemented by various players across various subsectors. Under TVET subsector, we have national polytechnics. Kabete National Polytechnics has had various graduates of RPL that have since been absorbed in the labor market. We have other framework that are coming up, accreditation framework. We develop the policy that is being used by other subsector regulators. So ours is to ensure standard. So we provide a policy. The policy will be customized by subsector regulators. If it's at TVET level, it's TVETA, university education, a commissioner for university, then basic, and other professional bodies, they embrace the same. We have the accreditation policy that is at a very advanced level of approval. We have the credit accumulation and transfer that you have earned credits, then we need a policy on how your credits can be recognized, exempted, and also can be transferred to avoid wastage. Yeah, we know that when you would proceed from diploma to university, you are required to start at level first year. But with the introduction of credit transfer system, you don't need to waste time to repeat what you already know. So it's in place. Again, is at the cabinet level seeking approval. Once approved, then that will be okay for us. We have done the assessment policy to harmonize assessment so that we're speaking of quality. We don't want to say that at Nyeri National Polytechnic, assessment is compromised, but not at Kapet National Polytechnic. We're saying that the assessment is harmonized. And so the regulatory bodies use the same standard to ensure compliance. And we have done what we call, this is a system where all qualifications awarded from credible qualification awarding bodies find a place. That employers, you only need to go to our qualification database and check on the skills that we have. Dr. Desai, the competence you are looking for, visit Kenya National Qualification Database and check with us the qualifications we have since registers. And to this, we are speaking to rooting out fake qualifications awarded from the River Road. Once we have a central system where qualification from legit qualification awarding bodies are found and uploaded into our qualification database. The authority also conducts research on national qualification, status of national qualification. That way you get to understand which institution is complying with the law. That is the framework. And so we're able to tell which institution is having the policy but on the shelf, not implementing the policy. Because quality assurance, according to the UNESCO standard, is defined as what needs to be implemented to ensure quality, to ensure credibility in the qualification awarded. What need to be implemented? So for us, we are saying you need to implement the policies we have since developed and approved for credibility of qualifications awarded. And so MEN is happening. We are also doing capacity building just to ensure that our players understand all about the qualification framework. I know I can talk and talk and talk and talk, but I also want to leave for my colleagues to say, and for your information is that everything else we are discussing here find itself aligned to the national qualification framework, because the framework classifies clearly education and training in this country. All players who are awarding outside the framework, that is not a qualification. It is something else that has no definition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wekesa. I'm getting a question from Salah Mohammed from Saburu TVC. And the question that is being asked in terms of qualification, and in a world where we are moving into the digital inclusiveness, how do we ensure that we bridge the digital divide between institutions?
Yeah, sure. Good. And thank you for that question from far end. I want to give an example in the recognition of prior learning policy. Through the support of the international level organization, we have developed RPL IMS, that is RPL Information Management System, that you don't need to come from Samburu all the way to Kabete National Polytechnic. You only need to check on the portal, register, and then you commence the process of seeking your recognition through RPL process. So the process is just the same as when you have come to Kabete, where you'll get to the coordinator, plans for your assessment, see the counselors, and up to assessment and to certification. So the same is being done at the authority. I've talked about national qualification database. We don't, in future, will not have employers getting all your qualifications, papers, stacked together. They only need to go to your portal and then check on your credentials that have been stacked across, and then you get your employment. Thank you.
Asante sana, Daktari. I wish to take this opportunity to recognize a panelist. Karibu so much, sir, Mr. Musa Opuk, Manager Industrial Training and Development, NITA. Karibu sana to this particular panel, but we allow you to take some time, and then we talk about recognition for prior learning. Bwana Stanley, we, in this particular room, we probably, or from where we come from, we know of somebody who can repair a vehicle, who can fabricate a gate, who can do very good plumbing works, but has never been into a particular class. And when it comes to issues of employment, then they get stuck because they have no papers. Tell us about how RPL is coming to address some of these issues, and what is it that we can be able to do to ensure that all of us as Kenyans are taken care of, whether we have formal education or not. Karibu sana, sir.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to appreciate the choice of this topic, which speaks to the theme of the research conference, quality and relevance. And quality and relevance is the key strategic issues in education and training, and even in TVET. You cannot achieve market-ready graduates who are employable if you do not address the issue of quality and relevance. Secondly, on the issue of recognition of prior learning, we are all aware that learning takes place everywhere, all the time. Every time we are learning. But this kind of learning is not reflective in our academic credentials. So you find people who have acquired knowledge, competences that are the best in the specific skill areas are disadvantaged. Two, we are all aware that Kenyan economy is predominantly informal sector driven. That is 85%. And so the people who are driving our economy have got the relevant skills, but they do not have corresponding qualifications. And so they are disadvantaged. And so it is a case where people who have competences required in the labor market are not having the relevant papers. And the people who have papers can't do the work. And so that confirms why the recognition of prior learning policy was developed. And the aim was to just identify the people who have competences, identify them, document these competences, assess and certify so that they are enabled and they are advantaged. They can be able to be employed to work. They can also access and advance in their training. And so we have, in Kenya, have developed a policy framework that has been in implementation for the last 2 years. And the aim is to just enable the market-ready competences that are there in our market, they are in abundance, and they are used in driving our economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And what is the relevance? How is RPL in terms of relevance and quality when it comes to the TVET sector?
Thank you.
What are these misconceptions that we need to do away with?
In recognition of prior learning, just like in TVET and in the entire education and training, quality and relevance are the heart of it, are at the heart of it. And when you look at the definition of quality assurance by UNESCO, it is defined as a systematic and planned process that provides trust and confidence in the services provided by educational institutions. So without quality and relevance in what we offer, there is no trust in the outcomes of any training system. And so even in recognition of prior learning, quality and relevance is at the heart of it. For us to have the confidence of the labor market and the society in the products of the RPL system, whatever we produce must have the relevant quality. It must meet the national standards of our qualifications. And so in recognition of prior learning, quality and relevance is achieved in threefold. One, we have to determine who does recognition of prior learning. The institution that implements RPL must have the relevant mandate for you to carry out recognition of prior learning. Not everybody can do recognition of prior. You must be an accredited institution with the relevant mandate. And for you to do the assessment again, who does the assessment? For you to assess, you must be a qualified assessor, which means you must have undergone upskilling to be a recognition of prior learning practitioner. And so what we have done is to upskill all the TVET trainers and industry practitioners on the andragogies or pedagogies of recognition of prior learning. So the aim is to achieve the required quality and relevance. Then for you to attain that quality, how do we do the assessment? Assessment is done based on occupational standards that are developed by industry. And for you to assess an RPL applicant, you have to use assessment tools that are developed by by involving industry and they meet the learning outcomes. Secondly, recognition of prior learning in Kenya has been linked to the national qualification framework. That means that the qualification that comes out meet the national and international standards, and they are not second-rate. They are just as good as the qualifications produced through the formal system. And the final aspect of quality and relevance in RPL is that the products, the graduates of the system are registered in the national database at the Kenya National Qualification Framework at KNQA. So that if you want to confirm anywhere nationally and globally, you will confirm and verify that the qualifications they hold are genuine. Now, the challenges that have affected the implementation of recognition of prior learning, first one of them is the issue of cultural perception. People just still have the belief that only those who have gone through the formal education and training system are the ones who are capable. But practically from the labor market point of view, people who have been effective are those who have learned on the job, they have acquired their learning elsewhere, and so they have competently performed the duties as set in the occupational standards. And so the initial reports we get is that graduates of the RPL system are performing even better than those who have gone through the formal education and training. And all of us can agree that we hold competences that are not in our academic qualifications. Yet all of us have competences that we acquired outside the formal system, and they are very good. The second challenge we've had in the implementation is the issue of financing again. And this has been is something that the government has been addressing every day. And so it's able to be, it's going to be addressed fully. Then lastly, we have been also able to institutionalize recognition of prior learning and create publicity and awareness about it. Now, everybody is getting aware of the recognition of prior learning services. For example, you come in Kenya, TVET is the lead education and training sector in the implementation of recognition of prior learning. All TVET institutions have been are accredited RPL assessment centers. They can assess. And you go to national polytechnics like Kabete, it's an assessment and awarding body. They can assess and certify the applicants of recognition of prior learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Maindi, for that very well covered and deep response. Maybe I would now want to proceed to Bwana Musa, and now starting from also where he has left, he has talked about instances where we know that those who have been trained from the industry and with the industry, for the industry, actually doing better, are even better placed than those who have gone through just the formal education alone. And we know that now there is what we are calling the dual training. And there's a common concern from the employers that graduates, often they leave the training institutions with qualifications but limited work experience. And even with the dual training, we are finding it a bit difficult to have many industries come on board. And my question to you, Bwana Musa, is how can industry be able to take a more active role in skills development or industry-based training? And are there some incentives or something that can be done to encourage the industry to come on board to ensure that this dual training is actually a success like we had always wanted it to happen? Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator. Once again, I must appreciate the opportunity that we are here to discuss pertinent issues, matters training and matters skills development in the country. As has been said, I work with National Industrial Training Authority, and being a manager industrial training development, issues of skills within the country whether we are going to export those skills, whether we are going to utilize them internally, are very key to us. I must say that industry, at one point, we decided to produce without engaging the industry as was required. And therefore, at the authority, we have sector training committees all over, or across all the sectors, 12 sectors. And all those sectors, the reason why we are bringing members from the industry to be at the sector training committees so that they can inform what we are training, the curriculum that we are developing. And this always comes from even the labor market information that is coming out regularly. Remember at one point, private security, if you came to Kabete National Polytechnic, you would get an old mzee who is purporting to offer security to this institution. Yet if there's a crisis, they cannot even blow a whistle. They cannot even protect themselves. Today, look at the private security. Young, energetic people, well-equipped, trained. That does not mean that all of them are good. Some people have personal issues, but it has improved. That is as a result of labor market information. Look at health workers that go even outside the country. Look at even home care assistants. They are bringing foreign exchange into the country. Why? There was a labor market information that informed that this is a workforce that can be built to benefit the country. Now, the industry must be used to define and strengthen the trainings that we offer in the TVET sector. And that is why those sector training committees are very key to us. This morning we were discussing with them about how we are revising and enhancing the dual training, the way we are saying. Now, most of the training we have done, bigger percentages in the institution, and very minimal percentage is in the industry. And we capitalized on industrial attachment, which is 3 months. Out of a modular, let me say the modules that are now running for 1 year, the rest of the year, this person is in this training institution. Only 3 months in the industry. The 3 months of which they are not even able to get to that attachment on the onset. Maybe on the second month or third month, somebody is just checking in boxes. I was attached, so I can graduate. So the dual training system is sorting out this by giving enough time for the trainee to be at the industry than at the institution. Not that now being at the institution is bad, but at institution formalizes what has been picked from the industry. And therefore, the dual training system, and when I came in, I found about even capacity building of our trainers. Kenya School of TVET, of which I am an alumni, is very good at training. But it has reached a point where our trainers must be attached in the industry. At NITA now, we have said we are running trade test assessments in August, first and second week. But some trainers are going to be attached because that is the time when students are on vacation. They must be attached in the industry. Let them go and get a feel of what is the current technologies in the industry. If Bwana Desai is here, they are current with technology, which is not in the institution. What is it that our trainers can come back with so that even as they come back to class in September, they are saying, actually, we learned about this and this that we need to embed. I want to speak shortly to RPL, just to demystify and also add strength to what my colleague has said. RPL, we are saying that people have developed competencies informally. They were nowhere. But one thing about RPL that is good, you may not need to start, if I look at the skills pathway that we are qualification awarding institution on, that you look at grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 until you reach master class person. We are saying, if somebody has been in the informal sector, and actually that is where our economy is being built from, and they can make a suit like mine, we don't need that person to start from grade 3. The recognition of prior learning can equate them to a degree holder from any of the university because of the product that they give. You go to EPZ here, we have people who are designers. Their work is to design things which are being exported. If this person has been at the EPZ, they didn't get an opportunity to be in a normal academic system. You may not now use their papers as a reference of remuneration, but remunerate them according to the competency they have. One thing that RPL has brought on board is that we have two assessors, one institutional based and one industry based. So the industry person is coming to confirm that indeed this person can make the suit. This is what we require. This is what we are doing. Institutional assessor is also coming to do screening and to establish that actually when we assess this one at this grade 4, at grade 2, at which level according to KNQF, so the levels start from 1 to 10. This person can be placed at level 6 with equivalent to a diploma, or level 7 equivalent to a degree. For us, when the affordable housing came, we realized that the fundis were outside, but they had no papers. Today, we have assessed and certified thousands of them. Why? Because we would go to the affordable housing site and assess them from there. If they are Masons, we assess them from there. They don't have time to go back to school, and therefore prior screening, building portfolio of evidence, and subjecting them to the final summative assessment. I want to say that finally, issues of capacity building of our trainers is now ripe. Any HR in the room must tell me or will agree with me that the payroll system they learned in school is not the payroll system we are using. With the digitization of everything, including when somebody is looking for a job, nowadays you just go and check where the vacancies are. It means if our trainers are not going to be at the forefront of instilling the digitization of everything, including learning, to our students or to our learners in the TVET sector, then we are going to miss the point again. We are not going to have enough productive workforce that is up to speed with the digital system that we have and even the AI. And that is why I say building a digital superhighway to spur this economy requires that it starts from the institution. And therefore, that is very key. Let us also focus on trainers and let us give quality that is being spoken into. If we miss that quality, that is why the employers that are here are saying that half-baked graduates are going outside. Finally, on incentives. Yesterday when we were here, I did speak about employers looking at graduates as potential workers. Note that they miss something. The institution has done their part. We are saying if you are going to engage graduate apprentices, the regulations that we have worked in collaboration with KRA now will provide employers with an opportunity to rebate the tax that they have paid to graduate apprentices. So if you engage graduate apprentices, pick a graduate, and you are the ones, employers are the ones who are going to recruit. Come to Kabete National Polytechnic, recruit graduates who completed last year. Let me say electrical wireman, electrical technician, electrical engineering. Go to the company. You require a motor rewinder. Develop that person for the next 6 months or 12 months to be a perfect motor rewinder. Yesterday, the PS talked of even making inches. We have lathe machines in the institutions. They have been given the fundamental knowledge that is required. Let the employer pick them. Let them use the lathe machine and help the employer produce. For 6 to 12 months, the employer will have modeled and sharpened the graduate to whatever they want, whether they're exporting that product or they are giving to the local market. And therefore, if you are giving the graduate, let's say 15,000, you have an opportunity to say that I have paid this graduate 15,000 this month, therefore I'm paying KRA less with 7,500. That is a great incentive. How about if you are 10 of them? You are doing a tax rebate of 75,000. That is a better incentive that has come up. It is a government initiative. We expect our employers to pick it up and run with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bwana Musa. That is deep, right? Yes, that is very deep. Because of time, I know this is a conversation we can have over and over again, but maybe just 2 seconds of each, starting from now, Bwana Maindi. And I'm asking that because this is a very important session, and of course, our guest of honor, Ijini Anjao, is here. The 2 seconds, we use these 2 seconds from where we come from, we know where the gaps are, and we ask ourselves, in terms of quality and relevance, if you were to identify one transformative action, one just one transformative action that Kenya must prioritize over the next 5 years, or if you were to look at TVET 2030 or 2032, that we must prioritize, what would it be in terms of quality and relevance? 2 seconds, please. The MC is on my case. Just 2 seconds. And for the purpose of maybe the take home for our guest of honor. Thank you.
I know I can't do in 2 seconds, but when you look at TVET as it is, I think the government has put in place the relevant systems and structures in place to achieve quality and relevance. So what we need to do is invest in capacity building of the implementers, that is institutional and the human resource to implement. Otherwise, we have one of the best RPL system or TVET systems in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Invest in capacity building for him. That is the transformative priority that he would have. Madam Joyce.
Thank you. Mine is for the government to fund continuous professional development of trainers. We have seen that this is very critical. They need to be retooled, both in the skill areas and in other areas. But usually the trainers are not able. I don't know whether they're not able, they're not willing to pay for themselves. Most of the programs we have run at TVET very, very effectively, like the CBET delivery training for the trainers, where we trained over 10,000 TVET trainers. It was sponsored by MasterCard Foundation through Colleges and Institutes Canada. We have also done a lot through sponsorship of Commonwealth of Learning, that is on online and digital, AI, and so on. And so we know that where there is sponsorship, the trainers are always very willing to come and be trained. But whenever we ask, our programs are on the website for them to apply and even to sponsor themselves, we normally get almost no applicant for them. So I think financing is a critical aspect that we would request. Also, when we talk about the industrial attachment for trainers, it is not for free. The trainers will need maybe some stipend when they are going there. And sometimes when some industries request for some form of payment, again, that is an area of concern. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Barasa.
Thank you very much, moderator. And from TVET CEDAC approach, we see that integrating technology and innovation in the training and delivery of training is one way that we can improve access and quality. And at TVET CEDAC, through a partnership with a public-private partnership, we did something called the 2080 Technology Enhanced Blended Learning Model. And that was sponsored by AUDA NEPAD and CIFA. Mr. Njau was actually the initiator of that. He started it off, and we finished it while he was not there. And it was one way of seeing that we create access, we ensure quality, and we also ensure relevance in the training of TVET. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Integration of technology, Dr. Kesa.
Yeah, thank you so much. One, all players in educational training, we request that we implement the KNQF. That is the outcome-based that the PS was talking about yesterday. If we really want to move with the industry demands, let us align our trainings to the Kenya National Qualifications Framework. Number two, that there's need to put in place a partnership framework between the industry and TVET, clear partnership framework, so that we can have an impactful dual training. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bwana Musa, you can, as we wind up for this panel, you can also tell us what is the 2032 for TVET.
Thank you very much, moderator. I think as I wind up, I want to allude to what my colleague has said, that let our qualifications be very relevant. and with quality, because those qualifications depend on occupational standards, and that is how we come up with the qualification packs. Now, where we are, if we are to make any meaning going forward, and if we are to start running, if not working, to look after South Korea and Singapore, then industry engagement is very key. Let us invest in the incentives to the industry so that whatever products we are having on the TVET side can be appealing to them. Let us invest in the industry engagement. Now, those 12 sectors, each sector has 11 members. 11 if it is agricultural sector, we have employers representation, and there are 12. We are saying there are people who will be helping us review occupational standards that we have, curriculum that we make. They are the ones who are going, even assessment, they are going to be part of assessment. In fact, when we go to apprenticeship program, we have 2 levels. The employer must give us a certificate of completion that this kind of trainer underwent the program and they are now okay. They are either competent or not competent. And then that is when now we are going to facilitate the other level of awarding the other certificate. So if we engage our industry so well, and investment, like now the RPL, the initial one, it was star 254 hash. Now, by the way, I'm sorry, it is not 2 seconds. Did you know that if you are at Kabete National Polytechnic and you have been learning electrical and electronics, or you are learning food, beverage, and service, and you have registered here to do food, beverage production, that is what we are going to be certified on. And what you have learned is also service. Nothing stops you from applying if you are between 19 to 24 to be funded by World Bank under RPL, because you already done it. So you just go there and carry out assessment for service part, and then that complements. So when you are going to the industry, you have 2 certificates, one from RPL, one from the normal formal structure of training. Because even me, I did electrical and electronics, but I was only certified in electrical power only. Yet I have all the electronics. How I wish that time there was RPL I would pick. And these are government funds, the World Bank funds. But now, when you come to, I don't know where there are other issues with us also, telling somebody just do star 254 hash, pick RPL or on the job training. Now you saw how people picked Nyota. It is the same platform, but star 254 for Nyota. People flocked because they were told 50,000 pesa mkononi. Sasa watu wanataka pesa mkononi bila kazi yoyote. That same product has RPL, you can be certified and you can make a meaningful life using the certificate that you have. Thank you very much.
Star 254 hash. Thank you very much, my panelists. Starting with Stanley, Madam Joyce, Dr. Kisaka, Dr. Wekesa, and Bwana Musa. Asante sana. MC, I don't know whether we have any question for this panel, and I want to say thank you very much. Maybe you can allow me maybe to pick one if there are.
Do we have questions? It appears
silence means that they are satisfied. So thank you so much. May God bless you. And thank you for contributing
Now, if
to the TVET
since there was
industry.
time for questions, and nobody has asked, I wanted to say this, that the chief guest is here. Really, there's a challenge. There are those who are graduating through RPL certification. Accessing employment becomes a challenge. Why? Because the employers are asking for class 7, class A certification, other previous certification. There's need for policy changes so that we don't look at the previous papers, but look at the current skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam MC. I think we may exit the stage.
Yes, you may. I was about to raise the red card because you went overboard, but ni sawa sawa. You know, you're standing in this in their lunch. Sawa sawa. So I will invite Mary to appreciate our panelists. What is the other microphone that works better? Mary Koigi, you could come on stage with the gifts, and then in the meantime, we can have the group photo for the panelists. As we have that group photo, we prepare for our last keynote address, which will take about 20 minutes. By then, I am sure lunch will be ready. And that will be by Dr. Rizwana, the General Manager at Lions Site First Eye Hospital. A group photo for the panelists, and then they can be awarded. In the meantime, we can get ready to bring the podium back to the center of the stage. Thank you, that's okay. Let's walk from the stage, from the right side. Thank you. Excellent. Check. Okay, excellent. Let's appreciate our panelists one more time. 5 factorial clap, ndio tuamke. In 3, 2, 1, go. No, 5 factorial clap. Tumesahau. So we start from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay? At the count of 3. In 3, 2, 1, action. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. We are almost coming to the end, and we have one more keynote address on dual training for a dual crisis, skilling health workers where the patients actually are. Sounds interesting, right? Can you hear that? Skilling health workers where the patients actually are. And we have Dr. Rizwana, who is the General Manager at Lions Site First Eye Hospital, to give that keynote address. Let's put our hands together as she comes on stage. Makofi kwake. So will I have the person to go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to be here, and I promise that I will not keep you from your lunch for too long. But after that exciting discussion that has happened, I'm only going to add my support and voice to this. So I would like to begin by talking about a little story. Right now, as we speak, somebody either in Makueni or in Turkana or in Kisii will be losing their sight. Not because no intervention exists or no treatment exists, not because Kenya lacks the science, but because the person standing in front of that patient has never been trained to see what's already there. That is not a tragedy. That is just a systems lacuna or a systems failure, if we call it that. And systems failures have solutions, which is what we are all here today to talk about. If we can go to the next slide. So at the Lions Site First Eye Hospital, I talk about what we have done since the institution opened. It's not a marketing, it's leading to a story where we say, while we have seen more than 2 million patients since we opened our doors, while we ended up able to put in 3,500 or more donor harvested corneas, and 70% of all the services that we deliver, even up to now, are at no cost to the patient, especially in the rural areas. We have not solved Kenya's eye disease problem, and we never will. Not by treating more patients in Nairobi. So that's the challenge. Second challenge being that where our patients are and where they get afflicted, as I mentioned, somebody in Makweni who wakes up blind, not able to see, does not know, goes and is told, okay, this is a blindness and maybe this is it for you, in a sense. Now you imagine what it does to the family, to the community, the burden. You have to put in caregivers, and all of this keeps happening. But if, building on what you spoke about earlier, the training, I think this becomes quite critical. So if you move to the next slide, I will continue there. These are the two problems we have. The rising disease burden, non-communicable diseases, eye diseases. Diseases, as we say, begin at home, in the workplace, where suddenly you start to see hazy and you wonder if it's too much computer use or what is it. Or they happen in the community. Somebody is farming, trying to dig and fend for themselves, and they suddenly can't see and they might even hurt themselves. And of course, the barrier is not medicine. The barrier is detection at scale early. So at the Lion-Side Pasai Hospital, where is the gap? The workforce skills gap, specialist to population ratio. As you know, our trainings are done to level 5, level 6 in major cities, at major universities, wherever they are placed. Frontline workers have the contact, but they lack the training. And we are training for the wrong altitude, that means. We need to cover all altitudes, otherwise we can't fly safe. And of course, the cost of waiting. So the most important thing, what it measures. I give you the example of ours, which is a reversible blindness, a condition which is reversible. Anybody with cataract, it is a reversible condition. It can give them their independence, their dignity, and their ability to work and support and be an asset to a community rather than a liability, only because treatment wasn't there. So what do? We actually identify the problem, the core question: how many people die waiting? Do they get it, or did they die? Now the thing is, cataract doesn't kill, but by being blind, by virtue of being blind, you are leading to very many more things. And this demonstrates how delays in surgery can cause deaths which were otherwise avoidable. So the relationship between surgical capacity, population level mortality is non-linear. It's small, and the increases are not enough. If we can go to the next slide, please. So 77% of the people in the cataract backlog today may die before receiving surgery. Why is this? They are not counseled, or they are indirectly counseled, or the health centers that we have, primary health centers, don't have the facility to be able to intercept this or to be able to offer a solution. So doubling our outputs on a broken system may give us marginal gains, as you can see from the data, but a substantially larger increase in surgical capacity is required, but equally also linear identification and access to treatment, support, and health. Next slide, please. So as you can see, these are the trajectories under these three futures. What will happen? Currently, where are we? If we double this, what happens? The impact is not big, but substantially higher network-centered technology. So what we are advocating and what we are doing in eye health, or have started to do, is in as much as, just like you said, you have people whom we can skill, who have a little bit of knowledge, but we can train them. They may not have become a clinical officer or an optometrist, but if we teach them, like I'll give you the example of us at Lions. If you go to any one of our camps, the first person who is doing the visual acuity is actually my driver, the driver who drove the team, because we have taught him how to make them see and write down. So that's the simplest thing we've taught him. That's the thing. The minute the guy can't read, you read the line and you say, the vision is this. That's all he has to do. But now he supports the ophthalmologist who doesn't need to do the vision check. So this is what we are trying to advocate for, that there is a gap. Indeed, you've all identified it and talked to it. Now, as industry and as ourselves, how do we take this down? So in our instance, this is what we're doing. Next slide, please. So as we have already highlighted, that the patient is in the community, the expertise is in the city. The distance between them is not just kilometers. It is a curriculum that nobody has built. And that is the training that we seek for from techno-vocational and supportive education, using digital tools, using technology, and also just simple screening. You can see what we say is sometimes the Matatu route is longer than the learning route, because it takes them 6 hours to come and go and they have to keep coming. Yet once you've taught them, their basic management can happen without somebody having to travel too far. Next slide, please. So what we have developed and what we are using, which is what I'm willing to share with you today, it is in its current nascency where we trial, where we identify the problem. So the algorithm is really 6 steps. We identify the problem, we have the map, we see where the areas are, we provide training, we provide support, you measure, and you repeat. And today we are blessed that we are able to access a lot of technology. Today, using your simple mobile phone, in fact, many times this happens. I will get a call that somebody's got a problem. So I always tell them the first thing, can you send a picture? Seeing the picture, you give it to the doctor. The doctor is able to tell you, okay, this is an infection, they need to do this. This one looks like a cataract, we need to remove. So today, basic training skills of this nature with tools that we have in our hands, we are able to impart this skill at the lowest level of community health promoters. And this is what we are also introducing. We actually have a program through our Site for Kids program, where we're actually training community health workers on basic tools of how to identify among school children and communities eye diseases. A similar thing can be done for any other health. And the thing is, as we know, the health of our nation is our wealth, and this burden can be elevated. We are also looking at seeing how on the clinical side, before you're certified, as you have mentioned, they always have to come for clinical experience before the degree is provided. We could be doing similar things for biomedical engineers, for community health workers, where part of the curriculum can have a simple internship placement, such that we can train them on specifics and they could graduate with a skill that they will use a lot more than just the knowledge of what they did. Next slide, please. I won't expand on that too much because I've already spoken to it, but basically we see the burden, not the ambition. Which conditions cause the most disability? You know, at the Lions Hospital, we actually introduced a full-fledged diabetes care center, and it was not like an addition of a business. The bulk of the patients, when I joined there 9 years ago, what we used to find is that they came to get their eyes checked, but they didn't know they were diabetic. So the vision loss was diabetic. So we have to identify the root. So that's why we introduced mandatory blood sugar, blood pressure screening. Any patient who comes must be done, because how am I treating that eye when the problem is somewhere else? As far as the workforce gap, we've spoken to it. We don't do it nationally, but per county, per facility level, and we try to give as many skills, and of course use technology, use telemedicine services where people can reach out. And then we can say how many nurses at level 3 have performed a visual acuity test. It's a simple enough test, as I told you, my driver can do it. So if we gave them simple charts, which they have, If somebody says, you know, I can't see properly, you just do the basic check. If you give them a torch, they'll be able to see the cataract. They'll be able to know the basics. And this is what we can do. So train where the disease burden is, not where the specialists necessarily are. Of course, as we say, every level of the pyramid requires it. Next slide, please. Similarly, offering support, because we create confidence with training, but digital decision support on WhatsApp, all sorts of basic, simple support systems through even little groups where people can ask questions. Measure what matters more for the patient outcome and not what is the easiest count. So if we can identify retinopathy cases because of diabetes, and today you know the prevalence of diabetes is high, if we can measure this, we would be able to put early intervention, which means we might save the eye going forward. And of course, the algorithm repeats itself. Next slide, please. So the model shift is, our current model focuses on specialist-centered, city-centered care. What we need to move to is more network-centered care, where specialists train champions in different areas. We also train at the training level. So as you've mentioned, people go out with more practical skills, which they can use. And then the clinical team serves the community. And if we have community health work, we can even engage churches, people who can talk to very simple things like, if you feel this way, this is what you know, we can have this, we can create the awareness, because even counseling, what we find, is very important. So if they can come into forums where somebody they believe in, they trust, will talk about it, counsel them about their health and wellness, it would be very useful. Next slide, please. So here, as I said already, and I won't repeat it, is that we don't speak from a whiteboard. This is what we do, and this is how we are doing it in our own small capacity. But as we say, we will not finish the eye burden problem in Kenya. We need everybody to come together in all their various spaces to make this happen. Next slide, please. Yeah. And I'd like to end this with, the Matatu route, as I say, is often longer than the learning route. A nurse in Isiolo, a design failure. Ours is to fix. Train where the disease is, measure what matters, scale what works. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rizwana, for that presentation. Did you get anything from that presentation? Oh, a lot. I said it was an interesting one, and you agreed. So, asante sana for that beautiful presentation. It seems they all missed the dress code today because it's green, green, green. It's green everywhere. Amkupata memo? Amkupata memo. So we have something small for you as you leave the stage. Lillian, who will be awarding Dr. Rizwana. As she leaves the stage, we have something for her. Okay. And then let's get a photo. Makofi kidogo kwake. Asante sana. Thank you so much, Dr. Rizwana, General Manager at Lions Sight First Eye Hospital, for that wonderful presentation. They say they have learned a lot, and so they will not go back home the same way they came this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming closer to the end, and I will invite Fantas Mugo for the awarding session. Remember, we've been doing the 4th International Research Conference, and so Skills Competition, Innovations and Exhibition Research Awards. Mr. Ephantas Mugo, wherever you are, please come on stage, tell us who won what and the way forward. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon. We had 11 TVET institutions participating in the exhibition and the skills competition. The institutions were Nyeri National Polytechnic, Nachu Technical and Vocational College, PC Kenyanjui, Thika Technical Training Institute, Nairobi National Polytechnic, Kasarani TVC, Dodora TVC, Saburu TVC, Jeremiah Nyaga National Polytechnic, Madenga TVC, and Kiambu National Polytechnic. We also had exhibitors from different industry, 19 of them, who participated in the exhibition at the exhibition booth. Just to mention them, we had High Card Africa Limited, Gunstock Evose College, Centurion System, KPFC, Ahiti Kabete, Ketreb, Mamuz Engineering, Ashka Jobs, Kumeni African Limited, Saromin Recruitment Agency, NITRM, NEA, NITA, IC Alliance, COSP, ABNO, Affordable Housing, IOM, ASMAC, Coca-Cola, and EDOMI. In the area of the skill competition, we had 11 skill areas where we had a total of about 121 competitors. And I would like to read the first 3 institutions per each category. But for the interest of time, the medals corresponding to these awards will be collected later. And we're also going to publish this in our website so that you can be able to view the position each institution was able to be awarded to. The first key area was on cooking, and the first position went to Nachu TVC. Second position to Jeremiah Nyaga National Polytechnic, and the third position to Nairobi National Polytechnic. The second skill area was lateral services. Position 1 went to Kiambu National Polytechnic. Position 2, Kabete National Polytechnic. And position 3, Kabete National Polytechnic. The third skill area was on welding and fabrication. We had 5 competitors. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2, Kabete National Polytechnic. And position 3 went to Nachu TVC. The fourth skill area was in refrigeration and air conditioning. The 3 positions went to Kabete National Polytechnic. The people who participated in the competition were from one institution.
Okay. Makofi ya Kabete.
The next category was electrical installation. We had 10 participants. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2 went to Dadolo Greenlight VTC. And position 3 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. In the skill area of car painting, all the 4 participants were from Kabete, and they took the 3 positions. The other skill area was fashion design. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2 went to Dadoro Greenlight VTC. And this institution is a vocational training center under the county government. The position 3 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Hairdressing category, position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2, Nyeri National Polytechnic. And the position 3, Kabete National Polytechnic. The next category was in beauty therapy. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2, Nachu TVC. And position 3, Nyeri National Polytechnic. The next category was plumbing and heating. Position 1 went to Thika TTI. Position 2 Kabete National Polytechnic. And position 3, Mokiria TTI. The other skill area was on AutoCAD. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2 went to Thika TTI. And position 3, Kabete National Polytechnic. Skill number 13 was brick rain. We had 8 competitors. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2, Thika Technical. And position 3, Kabete National Polytechnic. Skill area number 14 was on tiling. Position 1 went to Thika TTI. Position 2, Kabete National Polytechnic. And position 3, Nyeri National Polytechnic. Skill area number 15 was software solution for business. Position 1 went to Nachu TVC. Position 2 went to Nyeri National Polytechnic. And position 3, Kabete National Polytechnic. The next skill area was on ICT, networking, and infrastructure. Position 1 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. Position 2, Jeremiah Nyaga National Polytechnic. And position 3, Kiambu National Polytechnic. The last skill area was on mechatronics. We had 7 participants, but all were from Kabete. So position 1 to 3 went to Kabete National Polytechnic. We should communicate that there are medals that will be awarded for position 1, 2, and 3. And they will be given after the closing ceremony. Also, all participants and those who exhibited will be given a certificate of participation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Ephantus Mugo. Those who won in different categories will be receiving their medals as communicated. And so now to close this ceremony for us is Engineer Joseph Njau, Secretary TVET. Please, sir, make your way to the stage. Let's appreciate him as he comes on stage. Makofi ya kilo mpaka afike. Let's be very generous, people. Aha. Karibu sana, engineer, for that closing ceremony.
Thank you so much. And I want to recognize Dr. Lizwana. You have given us a very good talk. You also worked on me one time. There was a time I was having a problem with my eyesight. I came there and I was attended to. So she's doing a good job. I also want to recognize the presence of all the members of the Kabete Council, led by the acting chair today, and also our development partners, industrial players, researchers, innovators, trainers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me start by saying, bringing the apology of my peers who was supposed to be here to do the closing ceremony. But as you know, TVET has become a big space. And today they were having another conference at the Kenya School of Government on National Productivity Performance Conference, whereby I understand our PS has been given an award, Makofi, and also Kabete also got an award, Makofi Kabete. So that is why she's not here with us, and that is why she requested me to step in and perform this closing ceremony on her behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure on behalf of the State Department for TVET to warmly welcome you all to this important international conference hosted by the Kabete National Polytechnic. We are deeply privileged to have had the Cabinet Secretary of Education open this conference yesterday, plus many other dignitaries who were accompanying him. Ladies and gentlemen, the TVET sector is currently undergoing a bold and deliberate transformation aimed at positioning it as the engine of industrialization, job creation, and innovation under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The State Department for TVET is undertaking several key programs and reforms to ensure that training institutions are modern, responsive, and aligned to emerging economic opportunities. A key priority is the modernization of training facilities and development of state-of-the-art infrastructure across TVET institutions. This includes upgrading workshops, laboratories, and training equipment to ensure trainees acquire practical, industry-relevant skills using current technologies and standards. We are also investing in the establishment of modern digital learning ecosystems, including a centralized learning management system that will support blended learning, digital content delivery, continuous assessment, and remote access to training resources. This will significantly expand access to quality training, improve efficiency, and support flexible learning pathways. In addition, the State Department is spearheading the development of centers of excellence in strategic economic sectors designed to align TVET training with Kenya's priority growth areas. This includes the blue economy and maritime skills, textile and apparel manufacturing, agriculture, value addition and agro-processing, green technology and renewable energy systems, industrial automation, robotics, and advanced manufacturing. These centers of excellence are intended to serve as hubs for innovations, specialized training, industry collaboration, and applied research, thereby strengthening Kenya's competitiveness in both regional and global markets. We are also enhancing collaboration with industry to ensure that training remains relevant, practical, and responsive to labor market needs through dual training, apprenticeship programs, and workplace learning. Furthermore, we are strengthening governance systems, quality assurance frameworks, and performance management across TVET institutions to ensure accountability, efficiency, and excellence in service delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, these reforms are not isolated initiatives. They represent a comprehensive transformation agenda aimed at building a dynamic, inclusive, and future-ready TVET system that empowers our youth and supports national development. As I conclude, I wish to express sincere appreciation to all stakeholders, industry partners, development partners, trainers, researchers, and students for their continued support in advancing TVET reforms in Kenya. Allow me to extend our sincere appreciation to the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, that is AGRA, the Affordable Housing Board, the International Organization of Migration, IOM, and the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Unit for their invaluable support as the principal sponsors of this conference. Your partnership, commitment, and investment in knowledge sharing, innovation, skills development, and sustainable development have greatly contributed to the success of this event. We are deeply grateful for your collaboration and continued support. It is now my honor and pleasure to declare the Kabete National Polytechnic 4th International Research Conference, Skills Competition, Innovation, Career Guidance, and Expo officially closed. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless Kenya.
Thank you so much, Engineer Joseph Njau, for that beautiful closing speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I have seen the Chief Principal has just walked in. He went for that particular event and has come back with an award. Sir, if you could just come to the stage with the award so that they can see. You know, seeing is believing. I showed them a photo earlier, but now that it is here, wacha tuione. Karibu sana, Daktari Mushemi. Makofi kwake.
Yeah, I am being, good afternoon, our chief guests and all the guests present. I think we stepped out with our chair of the council to attend to a presidential function. That is the National Productivity Performance, a conference that was just a close at the Kenya School of Government. And we met, we had delayed because of the registration. But in the TVET sector, we happen to be the best performing tertiary institution that we were the second runners up. So I think we were the second runners up, and we were also able, it's also good to listen to the president, and he really made some quite encouraging remarks when it comes to issues of performance and the way we are expected to do. He has reminded us that the Singapore that we continuously talk about, it is, we have been really educated about that country, and our president, and as a country, we must be visioned. That is where we are going. And the country is doing well than even the America. That's what he has told us. So he has talked quite a number of issues. I think I don't have my phone. I'd written something, which we'll continue discussing. But because our chief guest has talked, and I'm sure I'm just been told to give a vote of thanks, I want to really take this opportunity first to thank the organizers for this activity. There was a team. Maybe they can start if they are here. I know they are going round. They can start. The organizers. I can see Bwana Mahindi, you are seated, and I know you. Munene. Oh, these are, those are a team that used to be led by Madam Muridian there from Alela Communications. And I want to really thank that team because they have really planned the activity for us. Situwapigie makofi.
Labda pia wakuje wapigwe picha kidogo hapa.
Yeah, mnaambiwa
for memories.
Mnaambiwa mkuje mpigwe picha, although naona wote kujeni. As they come, I also want to thank all the, you can plan an activity. You can even cook sufuria mzima, lakini hii tubo yetu itakula ile sahani moja tu. So whenever there's a planning of an activity, I think the issue is the attendances. So, and in this, I want to really thank all those who attended our function. Number one, there were the high school students who started the activity, the expo, because this conference really wanted to create TVET for tomorrow. And this was geared by this understanding that 80% of our Form 4 leavers, their home is not in the university. Their home is in these other sectors. And now that we had close to 1,000 secondary schools that are around us, we were able to do that. So I want to put to all the other institutions and those secondary schools around your institutions, I think we can carry the motto so that our 80% of KCSE leavers, I think we really have to skill them and skill them in the right way. The next group that really did a commendable job, there's a group that was really trying to align to the theme and do presentation of research papers. And I really want to thank the team that did the research papers and presented. We are very glad. The other group is those who came for talks or some topical issues that were here for discussion, and they are moderators. And I can see has been crowded today by quite a number of you. I can see Lions. I can see my sister Rachel from the counseling. I can see the chief principal Nyeri National. I can see our other good friends who have done those presentation. Our sagas, I can see you, the CDAC, the TVET, KNQA. I think plus others who joined us yesterday. I think we really have to commend those people because were it not for them, they were the ones we expected to bring out these topical issues and do discussions. And the moderators. And finally, I also want to thank yesterday. Our chief guest was expected to be the deputy president, but due to the calendar of events in our nation, it was not possible. Himself, he delegated to the CS. Despite the CS having other engagement, he had to stop and come and deliver the message for the deputy president. So I think that is quite commendable. And the CS was accompanied by the PS, the department. So at one point when I'm talking, you could imagine when the CS is here and when the PS is in this hall, it means the Ministry of Education is with us. So I want to really appreciate the Ministry of Education, that office of the CS, the PS, and all the stakeholders, because these sagas, and all the stakeholders in the ministry that really joined us for this activity. So, and finally, let us thank our God. Sometimes we do things. Sorry, before I go to that, I also want to thank, allow me, my council members. My council members, you can start. Maybe my council members. My council members. I think, had they introduced themselves? Yes, they introduced our council member. We were with Bwana Gilbert Nyongi, who was, our chair is not in the country. So we were with Gilbert Nyongi to receive the trophy in that conference. Is a council member, Madam Hanem Hamud, a council member, Engineer Jao, our county secretary, also sits in our board and represents the PS in our board. Bwana Storm from Treasury, also a council member. Madam Pauline Nagira, a council member, and Bwana Julius Mokogi, a council member. So I think all our members were here. So I intend to Kai. I really want to thank, because you see even yesterday and today, these members have been number one here in this activity. And they have participated in everything. So were it not for the council, unajua wengine wenu wanaona principle. Ile kitu tumepewa hapo imeandikwa 2024, 2025. So it's work that we did long time ago. So I want to really thank the council for that support. And they were here also to give us support and also to take notes about this conference so that we can really guide the institutions where to go. And finally, when I was saying, if you plan something, you might think you are the one who is doing it. But there's somebody else in heaven who really guides everything, who knew that today the Lion CU will be sitting here in Kabete a second time with your staff. I know you are here some other time for another activity, for this activity. So I was telling those people we took two together. It is God's plan that we had to sit today and even know one another and establish linkages. So we cannot really forget that for every success, sometimes people say there is somebody behind it, but I think the real science will say God is behind everything. So we really want to thank our God for being there for us all, and pray to the Almighty to continue blessing you people, especially those people in management, those people who have given various sectors, the ones who are here to man, those people like my trainers here who have given these students or trainees to guide them, so that our God really does it for us. We cannot do it, but we believe with Him behind us, a lot should happen. And when these people will be happy, when these trainers, these Kenyans will be happy, I think we will be blessed in one way or the other. So I also want to take this opportunity, because it has come, to really thank the Kabete National Polytechnic fraternity. I think we have also been told to benchmark by our peers. The first institutions, because when you are second runners up, it means you are number 3. So hata ukiruka sana ujue ulikuwa na mwingine ameruka lakini umejaribu. So Rift Valley National Polytechnic in Nakuru was number 1. Kisiwa National Polytechnic was number 2. Kabete National Polytechnic was number 3. Hapo ni sawa. So we needed to have to see those gaps that are there that we could not make to the top. There was also another institution that has got a Lonyeges TVC, the issue of salaries and the way they use the salaries in relation to the lowest percentage of a job is happening, but the amount of investment being put to run the organization is. So there was that award, I cannot remember maybe what it's called, but it has gone with our Lonyeges TVC. So you can see the government is really checking on various aspects when it comes to efficiency. This was an issue of efficiency, the resources and what they are bringing. In fact, it's only that I don't have the president has really insisted that like the issue of performance contract, he has said sanctions have to be there, and we are not going to apologize to anybody. Those are his words. I want to put those sentiments from that president's speech to us so that we may know. I could see some other people are noting, but we have been giving very good information. But the key thing is, we remember we have to really put whatever we are doing, we have to be quite efficient, because the resources are not there and they are not enough. I think that was the message. So asanteni sana, and I wish you well. And come any other activity that you come, we are there to interact. What we have learned from this conference, we have to sit on lessons learned for all of us, because it's not only Kabete that has learned. Even the visiting institutions, there's something we have learned. So we will benchmark. The visiting institution will benchmark, so that whenever we sit in another innovation or in another analysis of what we are doing on our tasks, we are able to really improve. So asante sana na Mungu ambariki. Mimi nimeshukuru na muende salama. Asante.
Thank you, Chief Principal, Dr. Patrick Mushemi, for speaking to us and for the vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the Kabete National Polytechnic 4th International Research Conference. And I'd like to invite on stage Eunice for the closing prayer. Eunice for the closing prayer. And then we will do the national anthem and end at that. You are now free to go for lunch, and safe travels to wherever you're going. See you again. My name is Andrin Kilemi. I have been your MC for this particular conference. It has been my great pleasure and looking forward to working with you again. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Madam MC. I'm just here to offer a word of prayer, but somebody was making an announcement about the skills show badges. Kindly collect them from the research coordinator, Mr. Musasi. Thank you so much. Let us start up for a word of prayer. Father in heaven, we come before you this hour with thanksgiving in our heart. We thank you, Lord, for the period that we had in Kabete, Lord Almighty. We thank you, Lord, for the conference that started on Wednesday. We thank you, Lord, because you have seen us through the conference, Lord Almighty, up to this time. We glorify you, your holy name, and we honor you for that, Lord Almighty. We thank you, Lord, for the guests that we have had, Lord Almighty, starting from the CS, the PS, and all the dignitaries, Heaven Father, who have come to this place. We don't take it for granted. We thank you, Lord, for them, and we pray that you are going to help us build a lasting relationship, a lasting partnership with them, Lord Almighty, so that it can help a great institution to grow, Lord Almighty. We thank you, Lord, for the whole community, the Kabete National Polytechnic trainers and trainees, Lord Almighty. Thank you, Lord, for all of them, and we pray for your guidance as we continue being in this institution. We pray for journey mercies for each one of us as we depart from this institution, Lord Almighty. How we pray that you may be with us and that you may guide us, Heavenly Father. We thank you, Lord, for the lunch that is ahead of us. We pray that you may bless it and may you provide it unto those who do not have, Lord Almighty. We glorify you, we honor you. It is in Jesus' name that we are praying and believing. Amen.
Thank you, Eunice. Ladies and gentlemen, before the national anthem, there's an announcement I needed to make on affordable housing booth. They are right outside, so you can make your inquiries even as you head out for lunch. National anthem.
Where is the lunch?
Thank you so much. I know you're asking, where is lunch? Eunice, please tell us.
Thank you. So after here, we are going to leave. We're going to turn to the right. Then we go ahead. The people seated here, we are going to have our lunch at the conference facility. You'll be guided. The rest of us will have the lunch at the tent. And maybe a final announcement. Lions Sight First Eye Hospital is offering free screening. So in case you have an eye issue before they leave, walk to their tent, you'll be tested and treated. Thank you.
You are free to leave.
What's all the fuss about? Man and woman dancing together, that's what it's all about. Oh, I'm me a the Black Panther from down a Wakanda. Baby, me take the herb, give me the stamina. So come make we dance to the song, yeah. Girl, you pretty like Akia. Are you a Miss Patty Atia? You know I say the girls them we come from. If you know want a girl, use a bulla. Girl, me want put a bread in your oven, but it a go nicer with a little jam. Turn around, walk in and hug up your woman, cause you know